guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the trough. I just read the title of this article that we're going to go through together, and it's so... Why are people getting stupider? What is wrong? Why are we all so anti-science now? I used to think that I was the anti-science one, because I was always like, yes, aliens live among us and blah, 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 blah. I just think that's pro-science, actually. Like, aliens is pretty scientific, right? But now I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I've become reasonable and everyone else is insane. The title of this article from Daily Mail is, I starred in an explicit video with Bonnie Blue, but now I'm celibate. She must stop doing 1,000 men stunts that will leave negative energy embedded in her pelvis. Do you know what? Everyone's trying to get their 15 minutes of fame with this, aren't they? So it's fine for me to talk about it because everyone's coming out of the woodwork to talk about it. Katie Bampton, 32, from North Wales, made an adult video with Bonnie Blue. Former star Katie Bampton has reached out to her friend Bonnie Blue after her world record sex session with 1,000 men, telling Bonnie, I'm here for you, Bonnie. I can help you heal when this is over. So they performed in a sex video together with another man at the end of 2023 and said they've been close ever since. But after seeing the latest news and images of Bonnie's record-breaking sex session in central London, Katie says she fears the stunt will end badly for her. Katie said, I know this is something Bonnie's wanted to do for a while, and as a former professional athlete myself, is that what we're calling it? I can understand how being the absolute best can be all you want, but having worked in the porn industry for years and come out the other side, I also know there'll be real costs to Bonnie's well-being. Having sex with over 1,000 strangers, it will create a massive disconnect between her mental well-being and her body. I agree. The trauma and negative energy from this will become embedded in her, particularly in the tissues around her Do you know what? It said earlier that Katie came from North Wales and now she's living in Thailand. Do you think like she's done little trips to Bali and it's become like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The types of England, the types of UK people who go to these countries and just like be so totally spiritual, man, and probably like annoy all of the locals. It's likely that in a couple of years she'll realise the impact this has had on her feelings of self-worth, her confidence, her ability to maintain a meaningful relationship. I want her to know I'll be there for her when that happens. I can help her heal. Well, that's condescending. Oh, I see. Like Bonnie, Katie earned a 6-figure income from her adult videos, but just over a year ago decided she wanted to leave the industry to set up a well-being business to help women overcome sexual trauma and achieve real, meaningful relationships and orgasms. So this is just promo for her company, right? Oh well, there are worse things to promote, I suppose. Sounds all right, really. Kanye West believes he was an emperor king in Japan in his past life. What is going on with everyone? Sorry, I got distracted. Apart from Bonnie's well-being, I'm really worried about the message this will send to other young people out there about sex, especially young girls who are thinking about doing OnlyFans videos to make what can seem to be easy money, Katie said. Sex with a stranger can lead to depression, anxiety, your body and nervous system become broken and frazzled. It can lead to a fear of intimacy, not knowing who you really are. I mean, steady on. Like, one-night stands have been a thing for a while. Oh, that, you know, doing 100 men in one go is different from like a one-night stand with one person, but they have been, a thing for a while. It doesn't need to be all of. Do you know what I mean? This is a bit shrill. Your body stores all those emotions until you have this moment of self-realization that you're deeply unhappy and can't forge meaningful relationships. Believe me, I've been there. Katie says the idea that random sex is fun, it can lead to happiness, it's just wrong. Loveless marriage for 20 plus years. There are consequences to that too, so I think people shouldn't delude themselves. I will say though, I've had a few moments with different men, and most of them are crap. So like most of the time, like drunk hookups and stuff, most of the time it was just either crap or pointless or whatever. So if I could take some of them back, I would. But I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not shrill either way. Just, whatever. OnlyFans has created this massive industry which simply didn't exist before, with hundreds of women who've made a load of money but lost sight of who they are. Then when they want to get out, they can't. They don't know anything else, and men don't accept their past life. Who cares what men thinks? But them not knowing anything else, and I suppose once you've done that and once you've done a lot of it, it's always, if Bonnie wanted to leave the sex industry and go do something else, but then say that other thing didn't pan out, or it didn't reach the same highs as what her sex industry career has done, it'd be so easy for her to be like, I might as well just go back to doing the thing before, like, so once you've done it, I guess it would be easy to slip back into that pattern. knowing you can always just like go do that instead. She says the women doing the videos now are getting younger and younger and worries they don't know what they're going into. True. Bonnie always seemed to me to be really balanced, grounded with it, and I'm so worried about her now. Grounded? I'm surprised you were even friends with her. Doesn't she hate all women? This mad competition that started between her and Lee Phillips is sending out all the wrong messages. I agree. I simply can't imagine that having sex with over 1,000 men back to back can have been enjoyable. I agree. Sleeping with like 5 men back to back wouldn't be enjoyable. Men. Ugh. Rubbish. People. Rubbish. You know what? Read a book. Read A Critique of Pure Reason. Katie, who admits to sleeping with over 75 partners, male and female, so? She was in the sex work industry. So? Says she was friends with the majority of them beforehand. There was almost always some friendship they'd start with, some degree of trust and a relationship of sorts, but towards the end I just didn't want it anymore. I craved meaningful sex, a family, all that stuff you don't envisage wanting when you're younger. The whole OnlyFans world is so fake. Women faking orgasms, everyone faking being happy. I just wanted out. Isn't that a lot of porn anyway? Now devoutly celibate. Joe, fair play to her. Gone from one extreme to the other. Fair play. I respect that. Do you know how many times, like a month, I say I wish I was just an android. I wish you could just take my brain and put it into an android's body with no biological impulses for eating, for pleasure, anything. So I could just sit there and think. A critique of pure reason. Now devoutly celibate, Katie was born and brought up in North Wales before leaving the UK for France at age 18, where she qualified as a PT. She then moved to Australia's Gold Coast for the climate to focus on her sports, becoming a professional CrossFit athlete. Oh, so she was an athlete. Oh, well, sorry, I was being a bit snotty earlier then. Sorry, I'll take it back, Katie. Also gaining qualifications as a nursery worker. It was in 2021, while babysitting for a couple, that she was invited to her first swingers party, where she met Australian porn star Robbie Oz, the two quickly becoming a couple and getting married. Before I knew it, I was going to drug-fueled swinging parties, then started acting in the videos myself. It was a whirlwind. I don't quite know how a kindergarten worker like me became a porn actor, but at the time it felt like a blast, the best time ever. The couple soon tied the knot and then became a celebrity sex couple, making over 50 grand a month from their racy videos, with close to 100,000 social media followers. It was then that she and fellow Brit Bonnie crossed paths. It's a small industry and we got on really well, Katie said. After we made the video, we went for drinks a few times, swapped numbers and kept in touch. Bonnie seemed nice. I loved her as a friend. I regularly asked how she was doing, what she was up to. It was a few months after making the X-rated video of Bonnie, Katie says she had an epiphany. I loved the ride, the buzz. Rob was and is a very special person, but just over a year ago I had the sudden clarity that I'd lost myself, my mind, my soul, she said. It had been coming for a while. I thought there was more to life than making porn videos and living in a Playboy mansion. I told Rob I'm done with this, packed my bags and left. What a legend. Having fallen into the porn industry without really thinking, Katie had decided to spend 6 months celibate and sober at a spiritual retreat in the Thai jungle. I basically did a whole bunch of woo-woo modalities, cleansing and healing my body from all previous sexual interactions. I already had a pretty good ground in a lot of the practices here, like breathworks and Pilates, but added in things like yoni streaming, an ancient Egyptian practice where you boil water with herbs to cleanse your vagina. Interesting. It's been used for centuries to help women recover after childbirth, after their periods, to help with period pain. I basically wanted a completely fresh start inside and out. With traditional Thai medicine and the help of a shaman, she every day meditated and refocused on her next path. Did you take ayahuasca? I want to hear about that. While I spent my days with Rob creating the hundreds of films we made for online with live sex demonstrations, I used any spare time studying sexology through the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy. After about a year, I qualified as a somatic sexologist, helping women and couples connect with their sexual energy and the emotions of their body to achieve stronger relationships and real orgasms, not the fake nonsense you see on places like Pornhub. I wanted to create something real and meaningful from my experiences, but as a trained educator, I wanted to help people sexually become happier, better, stronger. It's fine. It's fine. And I keep making the eyes, but it's fine. When she came out of the retreat, Katie had a plan. Run online workshops, couples retreats, and even one-to-one sessions through her School to Sensuality, a place and platform where women can build relationships with themselves and their bodies. I covered topics like having a low libido, a fear of intimacy, getting over sexual trauma, fear of men, confidence whilst dating. And for those couples who are in a happy relationship, I teach them how to have the most incredible, genuine, loving sex. Does loving sex not give you the ick, though? Telling on myself now, moving on. I mean, I've had 75 partners. I've been married to a massive international porn star. I've seen enough to know what works and what doesn't. Like just imagine being romantic with someone, gazing into their eyes. Anyway, she and Rob are friends. Rob's moved across into managing OnlyFans models, so he's found a new path. Yikes. So he's become a bit of a pimp, has he? Anyway, Is she worried about the 150 plus videos she and Rob made and put online? I paid a team to help me take as many of those videos down as possible, but there are still a few out there that we can't access. I now know one other focus for me is having a family, a long-term partner who'll be a great dad to our kids, and I definitely don't want that stuff out there when that happens, but I'm not ashamed of my life. We all learn and grow. I've had one brief partner since leaving the jungle, but I'm celibate again until I find a man who could be that dad. Mind you, I'm still open-minded and I'm not shutting any doors, but everything happens for a reason. This is where I am now and it feels great. Real valuable sex education is so limited, and I pride myself on being a light for others, as opposed to Bonnie Blue pretending her videos are educational. Like guys getting 40 seconds each in the 1,000 men challenge. Like that's educational. That's teaching men what's rubbish. I want Bonnie, Lily, anyone who's had any negative sexual experiences to know I'm here and I can help. Well, what do you think about that? Do you reckon this is going to be Bonnie's path? She's gonna have an epiphany and turn spiritual and go live in a jungle in Thailand. Do you reckon that'll be Bonnie's path? I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of today's topic. Throughout time, many philosophers have tried to answer the big questions. They debated virtue, justice, the soul, and none of them could have predicted a woman being booted off OnlyFans for planning a sex-petting zoo. That's right, it's time to ask, is Bonnie Blue a moral person? This is a video essay brought to you by me. So in this video, we will take 3 common, moral, philosophy/ethical theories and ask ourselves, is Bonnie Blue a moral person? We will also be referencing all of my accumulated knowledge from doing A-level philosophy. And now for the theories. First up is Kant. I'm being very careful about how I pronounce that name. Kantian deontological ethics, including the categorical imperative and the humanity formula. Oh, Alizee, what do any of those things mean? I couldn't possibly do A-level philosophy. Fear not, I shall help you. I don't even know if I've passed yet. The categorical imperative is this. Now, that sure does sound like a whole lot of guff, but really, it just means if everyone did this thing, would society fall apart? It's a little bit dramatic. For example, stealing. If everyone stole, trust breaks down, society collapses, and then we all end up reenacting the purge in a Tesco. This is also known as universalization. Secondly, the humanity formula. You too can get an A star in A-level philosophy. I bet I got a D. Next up is the utilitarians, Bentham and Mill. Act and then rule. Act utilitarianism, first posited by Jeremy Bentham, is the idea that the ultimate good is to maximise pleasure and minimise pain, and these are the 2 things we either strive to or retreat from. So Jeremy Bentham's first version of utilitarianism focuses on actions, and he uses something called a hedonic calculus, which sounds a lot more sexier than it actually is, to measure how much pleasure any one action can bring. Basically, if an action brings a maximum amount of pleasure for a maximum amount of people, it is seen as morally good. By focusing on each action, however, it's not very accessible for anyone during their daily life to weigh up each action using a calculus. Like, imagine going to the shops. It would be a nightmare. Every action, every choice, having to weigh it up in your head. Rubbish. John Stuart Mill's revision focuses more on rules, like the nerd he is, and makes utilitarianism stricter and kind of overcomplicates it, like good one mate. Essentially, follow rules, and these will maximise pleasure, minimise pain. Like don't steal, don't lie, don't murder, probably. He also focused on different types of pleasure, higher and lower. Lower pleasures being more base, like sex, drinking, food. Finally, we have Aristotelian virtue ethics and the golden mean. What could that possibly mean? Aristotle was an average bloke who liked average things. He hated drama. Extremities? Vice? No. Arete? Living virtuously? Everything in moderation? Yes. Aristotle believed that to achieve something called eudaimonia, aka a good flourishing life, one had to steer clear of vices and achieve a golden mean, to not be too cowardly or too reckless, to not be too horny on main, but also not a cold, sexless husk. Moderation. Moderation is key. That was a very brief recap of the main philosophical theories that we are going to look at. Now, how do we compare all of these and apply these to our favourite comrade, Bonnie Blue? Truly one of the finest minds of our generation. Actually, her most famous stunt is pretending she's still 25 or 24. So, let's see how our philosophers and their theories would rate Bonnie Blue and answer the eternal question that's on everyone's mind. Is she a moral person? First up, my man Immanuel Kant. Kant's first maxim of the categorical imperative clearly states actions that cannot be universalized are immoral. Now, how would society function if it was a 24/7 bonkathon and every woman had to sleep with thousands of men? It would be sore, sticky, and ultimately nothing would get done. Therefore, we can't really universalize this behavior, and so it fails the categorical imperative. Secondly, the humanity formula, aka not using others as a means to an end. Bonnie's actions rely on the sexual objectification of others, even when she's the one technically being used. For Kant, this is a big no-no. Bonnie Blue also uses men for infamy. She uses them for her sex content and they don't get paid. She even brags about having to sleep with her words, mingers. And I'm only saying that because I saw a clip in someone's video where someone said the word mingers, but then the person who was reacting to the clip censored it. It's not a slur, it just means ugly person. Anyway, she bragged about having to sleep with right mingers, implying she wouldn't touch them were it not for work. Therefore, because she is only sleeping with most of these men for the bragging rights and shock value, she also fails the humanity formula. Also to note, Kant was a very strict man, obsessed with people doing their moral duty for God or whatever. Though Bonnie would have benefited from a stricter daddy like Kant, Kant would not be the one for her. Verdict? Kant would absolutely despise Bonnie Blue. Next, the utilitarians. Jeremy Bentham. He also wrote thousands of pages of unpublished manuscripts about sex. If we use his hedonic calculus, in which you should weigh up every action by how much pleasure you get out of the following categories: intensity, duration, certainty, propinquity, fecundity, purity, and extent. And if we judged every action of Bonnie's by this, every instance of a bonk or a sloppy blowy, technical term, we can see that in each play-by-play moment she is maximising pleasure for the bloke involved and for her own narcissistic motivations, I'm sure. And when you consider that she has now slept with thousands of blokes, that's a whole lot of pleasure being maximised. In fact, she had a non-stop orgy with 1,000 guys for 12 hours. That certainly fills out the duration criteria. Now, there have been some reports of some women finding out that their other halves have cheated on them by sleeping with Bonnie Blue, but clearly the pleasure of all these men outweighs the pain of even a few dozen or even a few hundred women. Verdict? Jeremy Bentham would approve of Bonnie Blue and possibly sleep with her himself and consider it moral to do so. Of course, critics of Bentham point out that his act-utilitarian logic could justify sacrificing the few for the pleasure of the many. This is called the tyranny of the many, but Bonnie is no philosopher and Bentham was too horny to care. John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill's revised version of utilitarianism is about following rules to maximise happiness, not focusing on each individual action itself. So, I think it's safe to say he would have considered Bonnie Blue as base, as at her orgies there's nary a poetry reading in sight. Mill was also a big believer in women not being treated as property. He was alive during the Victorian era after all, and believed sex without equality was unethical. Seeing as Bonnie is pro going back to a time where women were viewed as property and says that women owe men sex, otherwise men don't owe women respect, loyalty or decency, Mill would have probably spat on Bonnie. Not in the sexy way. Verdict? Bonnie would have to shag Bentham, avoid Mill, and probably kill Kant. Aristotle. Bonking 1,000 blokes in one day cannot be reasonably seen as moderation to any standard. Aristotle would have called her acratic, ruled by appetite. Also, he would have been deeply confused by the phrase top shagger. Therefore, Bonnie Blue fails the golden mean. Aristotle believed that the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve eudaimonia, a state of flourishing, fulfillment, and moral excellence. It is not just about indulging in pleasure. It's about living virtuously and developing one's character through reason and balance. Aristotle makes the analogy of the archer. An archer must know their target, eudaimonia, and find balance and skill to aim correctly towards it, the golden mean. Comparatively, Bonnie lives a life of extremes. Her actions aren't directed at cultivating excellence or virtue, they are directed towards shock, excess, and fleeting infamy. To Aristotle, and many others, this isn't a flourishing life. It's a cautionary tale dressed up as empowerment. Aristotle also harkens from a time where women were viewed as inferior in rational capacity, so I fear if he had ever met Bonnie, it would have reinforced all the negative things he thought about women. So cheers, Bonnie, thanks for nothing. Verdict: Bonnie Blue's petting zoo would have made Aristotle throw up and have a panic attack. So, to conclude, out of the 3 main philosophical, normative, ethical theories we have looked through, Bonnie fails 2.5 of them. She only half passes utilitarianism because Bentham was a nympho. So I think we can safely, conclude from our research that Bonnie Blue is in fact not a moral person. Who could have possibly seen that coming? Bonnie Blue, making philosophers regret the liberation of women since 1985. I know I said in my last video on the subject that I wasn't going to talk about Bonnie Blue again, but in my defense, when I was editing that video, I came across this article and I thought, my God, this is so stupid. I simply must tell everyone. So, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're just looking quickly at this article by Mamma Mia about Bonnie Blue. Anyway, let's get on with this video. So, the article, Bonnie Blue slept with 150 guys in 2 weeks. Here's what she wants you to know. I think my face says it all. Men. I don't want men near me at the best of times, let alone 150 of them. Might as well just go through the entire article. OnlyFans creator Elle Brooke was on Piers Morgan. Why? Why would he care? Anyway, when Bonnie Blue earned $5,000, I think this is AUD because this is a Australian website, after 1 week as a cam girl, the next port of call was OnlyFans. Within my first month, I made over $10,000 from videos online. I was like, wow, okay, maybe there's enough people that either find me attractive or find me interesting enough to watch. Probably the former, babe, because I've sat through a few of your podcasts now, and they were both miserable affairs. At first, the gig was Bonnie's little secret that paid her bills, but watch the other 2 videos I've done on this, by the way, if you have no clue who I'm talking about. She's an OnlyFans creator, and she says incendiary and controversial things just for attention. But don't we all? No, not really. But things went from 0 to 100 very quickly when Bonnie made headlines after sleeping with 150 people in 2 weeks at the Gold Coast Schoolies. Oh yeah, and she deliberately goes after like barely legal teenage boys as well. So great girl all round. And she might be lying about her age. I am never... It's going to be like 100 years into the future. I'll still be alive because I'll be injected with like nanobots that are just like doing the, I can't pronounce it, autophagy, devouring my old cells, keeping me looking youthful and young. And I'm still going to be bringing up that she's definitely lying about being 24 or 25. I was living at the Hilton and the schoolies majority stay there. So I thought I'm going to hand out some business cards to introduce myself. This, coupled with a call out on social media, led to an influx of messages from 18-year-old boys, sorry my hair's really annoying me, saying, hey, can I sleep with you? Can we film it? Until this point, 25-year-old Bonnie, when did this article come out? Oh, a few weeks ago. Had only worked with other content creators, and it was unheard of to work with people outside of the industry. Usually people fake someone being 18 years old or pretend the guy's nervous. So when these people started to message, I was thinking, why don't I make my content more relatable, more organic, less edited? I was aware a lot of my subscribers and followers were the younger generation. And I was thinking, if they're watching my content with a professional porn star, they're not going to be able to relate to that. So I was like, why don't I do it? What have I got to lose? What indeed, Bonnie? We'll find out. She actually answers her own question in this same interview. Because right now, this is just rehashing old territory. I have to stretch the video out to at least 8 minutes, you understand, so I can put the mid-roll ads in. But when we get to the actual meat of the article, I was flabbergasted. My gasts were flabbered, or my flabber was gasted. Whichever way, the almonds were activated. It was new territory for Bonnie, who claimed she was more nervous than them at the beginning. When you work with other content creators, you know what to expect. They know the rules and how to work for another person. Whereas these 18-year-olds, they've got no idea, and I've got no idea what to expect. So, first day of schoolies, she filmed 1 video. She loved it so much, she wanted to book 5 people for the following day. Soon there was a line of guys waiting for hours to meet the OnlyFans star, which again, for the 3rd video in a row now, I'm going to say, not high value man material. So, during one spring break in the US, she had 122 encounters, followed by 158 encounters during Freshers Week in the UK. Literally no students worldwide are safe from Bonnie Blue. Nice picture of her there. Definitely looks 25. An 18-year-old could be quite confident, and then the other 18-year-old could be a virgin, very nervous, and only last 10 seconds, she said. Some of them come in and they're trying to dominate me and be overly confident and try and whip out new tricks, like she's not seen it all at this point. That's not me being snippy to her, I'm being snippy to them. Again, I'm going to bring up, there are some videos, we're just recycling content right now, go with it. There are some videos on her Instagram, and the guys have their faces blurred, and she's like, what are you going to do to me? I heard that as it came out of my mouth. And anyway, these blokes are like, I'm gonna... And they didn't look 18. These ones didn't look 18, so it's okay for me to make fun of them. They were like grown men. I'm gonna ruin you. Bro, she's slept with like 1,000 dudes. What could you possibly bring to the table that she's not seen, especially while she's standing there quivering like a packet of quavers? Pathetic. Men. Anyway, trying to whip out new tricks, and the other ones don't really know what to expect or what to say. Her largest encounter with 23 guys, here we go, was also one of her scariest, she told Mamma Mia, and this is how I know for sure she had the audacity to say in the Metro interview that she was intelligent. I mean, I knew anyway that she weren't. She even heard of Dostoevsky. Why is that my go-to? I'm so up my own arse, it's unbelievable. And Dostoevsky would probably hate me if he ever met me. I'm here reading his work, laughing at just how overly dramatic everyone is. Is that the intention? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going on. 23 guys was one of her scariest. Ready? Not all of the men in the group knew each other, and while some of them stayed the night, others went home. After they left, the apartment was, as you can imagine, an absolute mess, Bonnie recalled. There were condoms, rubbish, liquids, fluids, just about everywhere. And I noticed, one of my phones, none of them stayed to help clear up. Rude. Pathetic. One of the many pitfalls of bonking teenagers, I'm sure. I'm being facetious. Am I though? Not really. And I noticed one of my phones had gone missing and other few random bits of my underwear. After tearing the place apart, Bonnie realised her belongings had been stolen. Earlier on in the night, one of the guys had joked about robbing Bonnie's place, but the group had dismissed it as a joke, until she heard a knock on her front door and a group who had left barged in, ready to take more. Luckily, because I had the other group of guys still there, they changed their minds and left, but at this point they had already taken a phone and underwear and other little bits. If the other blokes hadn't been there, how easily south could this have gone? And there's another instance as well, because I'm not sure if she said in her Metro interview that she has security now because of the hate threats she was getting. So she didn't have security before when she was letting groups of not really grown men, well, some of them are grown men, it's not all teenagers, but groups of men who could physically overpower her really easily, allowing them into her home without some sort of security. I would say she's been this close, and we'll listen to the other one in a minute, this close to becoming a statistic. The next story. A similarly scary encounter occurred with a group of 4 men. They wanted to come into the bedroom to see me one at a time, which is fine, she explained. But no sooner had Bonnie entered the room with the first man than the other 3 turned aggressive, banging on the door. After that, the 3 of them decided to come in together and were trying to refuse to wear condoms, Bonnie said. They were trying to be really dominant and getting aggressive towards me and were frustrated at me asking them to wear a condom. They said, "You're the slut that sleeps with all these people. Why are you trying to get us to wear a condom?" When Bonnie asked the group to leave, they refused, saying, "You're going to give us the treatment." It was an uncomfortable situation and intimidating. Even though they're young, it's still 4 guys, Bonnie said. As well as always wearing a condom for protection, Bonnie has now hired security, but that is the extent of her screening process. The thing about Bonnie is she says a lot of controversial things, as I've already reiterated. for attention, so people go look at her OnlyFans, clearly. And she thinks she's a marketing genius for coming up with this, oh, say horrible things, people give you attention. She thinks she's an idiot. Belle Delphine did it better, and she didn't have to denigrate other women to do it, to my knowledge. She just pretended to be young for sus people. Which is worse, betraying your entire gender or trying to give nonces some kind of like jailbait fantasy? Oh my god, what world do we live in? Come on, everyone, get it together. Bonnie is a huge pick-me who doesn't care about throwing her gender, her sisters, her comrades to the wolves if it validates her own ego and validates her external appearance. She wants to be the person that your husband or your boyfriend, maybe even your girlfriend, would cheat on. She wants to be that person. It's very clear from the interviews she's done. And I wonder, I think I've heard her say in an interview before that she's pretty confident that she would never get cheated on because she thinks that she's fit. I'm not saying things in a disparaging way, but she believes that she's so fit that a bloke just wouldn't cheat on her, which if a bloke is going to cheat, it's probably not going to have that much to do with your physical appearance. Regardless, putting that aside. I think she also harbours some sort of delusion that because she is servicing these men and essentially doing them a sexual favour, even though she makes the money from it, she likes to pleasure men. I come across as so anti-men recently. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll continue. I think she's under some sort of delusion that like these same men probably wouldn't hurt her, when, as you can see from these two examples that she told this website, that's simply not the case. If other blokes hadn't, you know, the whole like bear or man woods thing, saw someone on Twitter being like, well, if men didn't exist, who would be here to protect you women? And a girl replied saying, protect us from what? If men didn't exist, protect us from what? And don't say animal attacks, because I know for certain no man I know could take down a bear barehanded. What am I talking about? Oh yes, so the first scenario is very much that. Like, the group of men who were in her apartment were there to protect her from the other group of men who had like nefarious intentions. But if no men existed in the first place, that scenario wouldn't have happened. Regardless, before I get on my anti-men high horse, before the man who is going to edit this video gets fed up of me and just creates an AI version of me being like,
I actually love all men.
It's simply not the case. And it's a good thing that she's hired security now, but the naivety of her to think that nothing could possibly go wrong by like, and I don't want to go into victim blaming territory, that's not my intention, but then when it comes to when it comes to a lot of situations, one can't be naive about it. But then it's so weird because the way that she holds herself in interviews and the way that she speaks, she doesn't sound 24, 25. She sounds not wiser, but she sounds older. But then this sort of naivety of just letting groups of men come into the apartment without having hired security at the door in case, she could have so easily been a statistic. Like, both of these scenarios could have so easily gone wrong. And then, babe, I know, like, I've given disclaimers in the other two videos, so I'll give one again. I know that most of what she says is just for attention, but her pick-me-isms is going to hurt other women in the long run because she's validating the awful behaviour of men. But then the second group that entered and tried to have some sort of orgy with her, tried to have a forced... I don't even know what happened. Did she end up sleeping with them in the end? Because she hasn't... I don't think she says. The fact that she tried to establish a boundary with these guys and then they slut-shame her and call her names... Bonnie, does this not tell you anything about the type of man you are catering to? They're never going to see you in a high status, because she tries to pretend that like her content is educational, which, yeah, right, who's going on OnlyFans for education? She tries to pretend she's teaching these guys something and that she's doing them all a service. They don't see you in that light, Bonnie. To them, using their words, to them, you're the slut that sleeps with all these people. Why are you trying to get us a condom? This is who you are to them. This is why you shouldn't be, even if it's getting your attention, even if it's making you money, this is why you shouldn't be throwing other women to the wolves and helping men cheat. I want to say it's like the whole Madonna whore complex, but to be honest, I don't really know. I know vaguely. Someone in the comment section can let me know if that's right or not. Let's continue the article because it gets a little bit worse, actually. She says, there's no background checks. I'll share my location and they'll just queue up for hours on end to see me. So as soon as one goes out, the next one comes in. I don't even know the name until they're filling in the consent form. It's a somewhat terrifying prospect and not one lost on her family and friends. They definitely do worry, she said, of her loved ones. But my mum said recently, you could be walking home from work, you could be on your way to school, you could be getting the wrong taxi. It's dangerous everywhere. Respectfully, your mum is an absolute idiot. Disrespectfully, actually. How could a mother, has she heard about how the first group of men could have robbed and murdered you and the second group of men were attempting to sexually assault you? How could a mother hear that about her daughter and then go, well, it is dangerous everywhere? Yeah, it is dangerous for women everywhere, but there's a bit of a difference, wouldn't you say? Also, it's just propagating the false idea that assaults happen in always by strangers in dark alleyways, when it's simply not true. Like, statistically, most assaults happen by people, like to people, by people they know, whether it's like family or friends. So your mum is completely wrong. And also, what a ridiculous thing to say. Oh, it's dangerous everywhere, so it's fine to have no security and have groups of men know, well, your location be online for anyone to see, and then have groups of men come in and threaten you. Yeah, that's exactly the same as like walking home from work late at night, innit? Then she adds, people come and see me because they like me or they appreciate me. Babe, my sweet summer child. Yes, I'm sharing my location online. Yes, I'm sort of offering sex out for free, but people are very respectful. How can you say that in the same interview in which you just said that you almost got mugged, maybe murdered, and sexually assaulted? People are very grateful to see me. I probably get more abuse just walking down the street. I'm not sure about that. Not to invalidate your experiences, but I'm not quite sure. Like, say you walk down the street and in that moment there's only a finite amount of people in the street at the same time as you. Out of them, statistically, how many of them would try to assault you versus having your location online for anyone to come and see? They fill in consent forms. You don't know their past. You don't know their history. We can already see the types of blokes that are going to her. So statistically, which do you think, I'm saying statistically a lot, but there's like no actual stats for this. Logically, which do you think would be more dangerous? Walking down the street, finite amount of people, or having hundreds of blokes, dozens, if not hundreds of blokes, queue up outside your flat with one thing in mind? Indeed, Bonnie is no stranger to verbal abuse. After news of her schoolie's endeavours made headlines, the OnlyFans star received a wave of online backlash, but while she's aware of the discourse, Bonnie is quick to disagree with it. Of course she is. People think that sex workers have no brains and they've got daddy issues. I don't think that. I do think you don't have many brains, though. How dare you besmirch a good daddy issue? I'm not a sex worker, but I'm going to keep talking. Don't matter. My family don't watch my content. I can literally say what I want. Who doesn't love a good daddy issue? Why do you think I just like all these older men, Keanu, Pedro, and the rest? They've got no family or some sort of trauma that's happened to them as a kid, and it's not the case. No, but hypersexuality can indicate sometimes that trauma has happened, so don't dismiss all of it just because that's not your lived experience. She told us, you can do this job because you enjoy it. Of course you can, because it's $1 million business. Sure, of course. I don't have daddy issues. My family is beyond supportive. Respectfully, they're not very smart though, are they? But people think just because they shame sex or they think sex shouldn't be spoken about the way I speak about it, that I must have an issue. I ain't shaming sex. You heard the way that you should read the ebook that I'm coming out with. Listen to the way that I talk about sex. But I think there is an issue if groups of men are coming to your flat to try to rob you or assault you. Bonnie argues that what she is doing is causing no harm. Not true. She's enabling people to cheat on their other halves. She's going after barely legal teens. Her words, not mine. And she's she's definitely putting herself at risk. So, not true. People happily go to the bar and have drinks that are damaging for your body. Wrong. I don't drink. So there. Checkmate, atheists. Which way, Western woman? I shouldn't say that. I think it's like I swear that's like a horrible right-wing meme. Which way now, Western man? But I just think it's so funny. I'm the problem. Me having safe, protected sex isn't. But it's not safe, is it? Because you just relayed some dangerous stories, Bonnie, think. But they'll shame me for doing something I enjoy and it's causing no harm. No, just because you keep saying it's not causing any harm doesn't factually make it true. I have people try to force religion on me. And it's like, I'm not forcing these 18-year-old students on you, so stop trying to force religion on me. Well, I'm fine and people just don't understand that. And then blah, blah, blah. It's just the usual stuff about, the haters are just sad. My hobby is 18-year-olds. Go and find yours. My hobby is slagging people off, Bonnie. So I think we're at an impasse here. Unstoppable force. Immovable object. No, but real talk for a second. By her own admission, what she's doing, the way she's doing it is incredibly dangerous. The fact that it took her until recently to get security on her door is awful. And I hope she stops blindly trusting men, for starters, weird thing to do, pick-me behaviour. And she takes her security way more seriously and keeps the security even when, all the uproar has died down or whatever. Hello and welcome to The Trough, where I feed you hot slop daily. I'm Alizee. Let's just get into it. Bonnie Blue. I don't want to put this on my main channel because I'm kind of fed up of her getting attention. At the same time though, she just keeps doing stuff. So, shall we just get into it? So, and the next few uploads are going to be about Bonnie Blue because there's just so much to talk about. Because of the Lily Phillips documentary that was made with Josh Peters, where Lily Phillips slept with 100 guys in one day. Well, after that, she then said that she was going to try and do 1,000 guys and break the world record. And then, out of nowhere, new challenger appears. Not really. The Bonnie we know and tolerate came out and said, no, she did 1,000 guys in 12 hours, 24 hours. Someone worked out, someone did the maths, that it's basically one dude every 40 seconds. And I have to ask, at that point, is it even sex? If it's just in, wiggle it around a little, and then out. Like, how is that worth it for anyone other than bragging rights? But nothing to brag about there. Initially, I wasn't even sure that Bonnie Blue actually had achieved the challenge because all of the proof was just her holding up some handwritten notes saying 800 guys, 900 guys, 1,000 guys. Then there was a tick. Oh my God. So I know that none of us are actually sure of Bonnie Blue's real age, but there was a TikTok that she put up being like, this is me after 1,000 guys, ladies, fluids is good for your skin. And it's like, don't want to be mean, but we're on The Trough, so I'm allowed to be as unhinged as I want to fucking be. Bonnie, you've aged like 10 years just doing this challenge. This is proof that men aren't good for your skin. I've heard salmon sperm can be injected into your face for a more youthful appearance. As a vegan, I wouldn't do that, but maybe just do that next time instead of the sperm of 1,000 below mid men. Anyway, the article we're going to look at today is Bonnie Blue. This is on the Mirror. Man's disturbing insight after he accused with 1,000 others to have sex with adult star. Oh my God, this is just Clown World. Though Clown World, and I don't think I realised this when I used to do Clown Worlds, apparently has like right-wing connotations, because it's like, I mean, I figured it was like an anti-SJW thing, which I was one when I was younger, but I've covered that on my main channel a little bit, so, you know, whatever, who cares. I'm reclaiming Clown World, and I'm reclaiming slop content. It's all mine now. So we're just doing Clown World. I'm literally in the same place I was 5 years ago, and on this channel, it's basically the same amount of followers, isn't it? So Ali Walker eventually changed his mind despite queuing for hours. Wow, he beat the sunk cost fallacy. Phallic. Oh God. In the hope to bed Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Billinger, as part of her world record attempt. A security guard who begged for an invite to join more than 1,000 men having sex with adult star Bonnie Blue has described the surreal experience he encountered. Let's hear it. Ali Walker, 42. My man. I know he walks away, but like he wanted to make better life decisions. You are too old to be acting this way. Was eventually put off by the scenes which greeted him at the OnlyFans star's world record attempt outside a mansion in central London. Ugh, they're gonna get banned from Airbnb. These girls, they really are. Like, the industry is gonna, I think OnlyFans as an industry is going to start enforcing some regulations, because these types of extreme stunts, and they are stunts, not Red Bull caliber worthy, but stunts nonetheless, I think something's going to happen legally with it, because it just can't be. Like, how is it not a physical danger to have like 1,057, can't forget the 57 men enter you and take, and that's not to even get into the whole STDs. We've covered that on the main. The security guard said volunteers lined up in their boxer shorts in this weather. It's been -3 before taking in turns to have sex with Bonnie, 25, debatable, at the address. She took to social media to boast she had had sex with 1,057 in 12 hours, beating the tally previously set by adult film actress Lisa Sparks, who had sex with 919 men in 24 hours. So she did it in half the time as well. Bonnie. God gives his strongest battles to his toughest warriors. Ali, who is single, I would hope so, said it was the most surreal experience of my life. And you're barely, even that it weren't you having stuff done to you. 100%. I was just amazed about what was going on. I had been told it was one-to-one sessions, so I presumed you got into a room with her one at a time. But when I got there, it was a free-for-all. I imagine the smell. There were around 30 to 40 guys around her at any one time, all taking turns. Jesus Christ. I know we don't, speaking for all of us now, I don't like Bonnie because I think she's actually quite, like, I have more sympathy for Lily because I feel like there's something, I don't know, more vulnerable there. Whereas Bonnie, she's just quite nasty. She's very misogynistic. She hates other women. She's ageist. She tears like women down, and she's a pick-me. But my God, I don't want her in that. Don't like you, but don't want you in that position. Well, there's 40 men around. 40 men, and this, it's not saying porno sets don't have issues. I think there is sexual assault that goes on, and I don't have the statistics for that, but I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that, you know, like, there is sexual assault and abuse rife in the porn industry anyway. But this is just like, she's doing it kind of like by herself. I mean, she'd have an assistant. 40 guys. 40 guys. She was surrounded by guys. There were so many guys there, and I'm quite shy. I've never been involved in anything like that, so I didn't get involved. Oh, you could have got over your shyness. The adult star, originally from Nottingham, openly admitted using rage bait tactics to go viral. Yeah, no shit. Most of the men wore bank robber style balaclavas to disguise their faces at the 15 million quid mansion owned by convicted fraudster Fast Eddie Davenport. I had no idea where any of that sentence was going at any one moment during that. Grim photographs after the stunt show the floor of one room littered with used condoms and paper towels. Bonnie Blue thanked all the barely legal, barely breathing and the husbands who took part in her challenge. Ali, though, was not one of those men as he decided to leave, having got the footage for his TikTok account of the atmosphere. Oh, I saw this TikTok, I think, outside the property. The stunt shows the legs of the men lined up the staircase as they I saw this TikTok, and honestly, is it mean to say you could tell they were all wrong uns? Are you shocked by Bonnie Blue's world record attempt? Yes, I'm shocked by it. No, I'm not shocked at all. I'm going to say no. Ali told Mail Online people were just going in and a group would surround her. Whoever got the opportunity would start joining in. She was in the middle and there were loads of guys around her doing whatever to her. How is she not? How is she not raw? How is she not raw? There was a lot of guys in their late teens and early 20s. There were a few older guys. I'm 42 and I was probably one of the oldest there. She had a camera set up. I think she said she had 5 cameras altogether. She was a trooper. She was getting on with it. See, God's toughest warriors. She was 100% into it. She was orchestrating it all. How much attention does one person need? Is that wrong to say? Like, I just immediately thought of Russell Brand for some reason. She had a whole team around her. There were a few other women just helping out, being fluffers, helping get it in. It is believed Bonnie recorded around 12 hours of sordid footage from the start of her mission at 1 p.m. through to the early hours of the morning. Mission, wow, GCHQ should give her a ring. The young woman, who it said made £600,000 a month from OnlyFans activities, I've heard it's 750k, posts updates on her TikTok platform as well. Security guards on the door checked ID, ensured names were on the list before anyone entered the building is understood. Since carrying out the stunt, Bonnie said online, the room was absolutely full. We did groups of 5, like one after the others of 5s. But the woman previously faced backlash, saying men should cheat on their wives, claiming to sleep with barely legal 18-year-olds. She was also pictured crudely joking to staff at burger joint Five Guys about literally being able to get Five Guys in one of the chain's restaurants. Ma'am, this is a Five Guys. They do not earn enough to be dealing with your bullshit. I want to know how she's doing down there, because, ladies, I don't know about you, but before and after I get my period, I get very hormonal, and it's not pleasant. I don't mean the emotions, I mean like skin sensitivity or like skin dryness, or we can be more authentic on this channel, because imagine this is the channel that actually blows up rather than the other one. Like, sometimes around that time, it's not fun to have a vagina. It's not very fun, right? So I'm just thinking, my God, like 1,000, what's that like? Maybe she doesn't have any of those like type of hormonal, like, period related issues or whatever, but like, surely this is like a constant yeast infection waiting to happen. Like, sure, I can't really imagine like how it could be pleasurable after a certain point down there for her. She was going at it for 12 hours straight, 1,000 men. Ultimately, this type of behavior shouldn't be condoned because it is just incredibly unsafe. Sexually, STD wise, probably unsafe for all the men, but physical safety wise, unsafe for Bonnie, who has had men try to rob her before and get aggressive with her before she hired security and stuff. So I think it's an accident waiting to happen at this point. And if something happens to Bonnie whilst attempting these stunts, because where's she going to go from here? Lily did 100, she's done 1,000. Where are they going to go from here? They're going to try and outstunt each other. Something inevitably is going to happen. There's got to be some sort of like injury or like worse. And then I think we're going to see some massive regulations come down on OnlyFans, because like by allowing this type of behaviour to be platformed on their platform, they are condoning it, innit? So I bet some people are going to be like, free market capitalism. Shut up. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, let's look at Bonnie Blue, shall we? Actually, now let's talk about what Bonnie Blue's been putting in her vagina. Bonnie Blue has revealed that she will be live streaming her attempt at taking on 100 men at a group event. And I know this is really saying something when it comes to our Bonnie. She is everyone's Bonnie, isn't she? Wow. She might be the most communist of us all. This is definitely what Karl Marx had in mind when he was writing his manifesto. He dreamt of Bonnie Blues and Lily Phillips. I bet he was a sex pest. Let's Google it. Karl Marx. Just because, like, most of them were. But what am I saying most of them were back then? I think people are, like, just everyone's a sex pest, isn't they? Let's see. Karl Marx sex pest. See what comes up. Socialist whores. What did Karl Marx think of prostitution? Slate.com. Did Karl Marx assault someone? Marxist position on sex work. This is hilarious, right? No, get kicked off with that. Never mind. Anyway, our Bonnie, this might be her most daring stunt yet. It's hard to keep up with Bonnie Blue, let alone the rest of the UK's OnlyFans girlies. Since she broke the world record in January, Bonnie has been corrupting college kids, faking a pregnancy, sneaking into the Super Bowl, and that's only in the last month. Most recently, she shared her intention of breaking her own record with 2,000 men. Besides doing the dirty in space or taking a run at the entire country, that's why I said doing it in space. I'm at a loss. Tab people, I bet you watch my channels. I'm at a loss for how Bonnie could outdo herself. Luckily, she's got plenty of ideas up her sleeve. I hope so, because otherwise I'll run out of these videos. So, Bonnie recently sat down with fellow OnlyFans model Camila Araujo to discuss her subscription site. I can't roll my R's, so leave me alone. It was in this interview that Bonnie and Camila pondered breaking her earlier world record, but in another clip uploaded to Instagram, Bonnie spoke up about her upcoming live stream. I'm going to do a gangbang, a 100-man gangbang live stream next week, she told Camila. She told Camila, who questioned how the logistics would work. Oh, just imagine being with all those feral men. Some of them will be behind that person, like that will be turning them on, ready, because they know they're about to enter me, and that's obviously going to turn anyone on. I do think she's funny sometimes. I'm awful, I know. It's just, why does the universe make, like, so many, like, awful people, like, net negatives for society, really quite funny? Is this a me problem? I find so I can't even say the amount of, like, bad, controversial people that I just think are hilarious. But sometimes I do find Bonnie funny. That's obviously going to turn anyone on. That's something I would say. In the caption, Bonnie noted how the live stream will take place on Sunday, April 6th. What? I missed it. Oh, I should have tuned in. But she didn't reveal which platform it's going to be on. I'm pretty sure Instagram would have an issue of her going live in such a manner. Although she does have a flourishing Twitter account, it's more than likely going to be on her OnlyFans for the cushy price of $9. Bonnie's comments were the usual dumpster fire. One person wrote, "How has she not been jailed?" Another porn performer questioned, "How do you make sure they're all safe and tested? Do you make them go to the same testing clinic? Does the test have to be within 2 weeks like it is for usual mainstream?" Personally, I like to do literally anything else on Sunday, so I won't be tuning in. That's funny. You're funny, Kieran. Right. Another article about Bonnie's event. Start off big. Bonnie Blue lures influencer into another record-breaking stunt, and it's grim. As we know, purely because it was hard to miss when literally everyone was talking about it. Bonnie Blue, yep, world record, blah, blah, blah. She's been trying to stay in the limelight ever since, sleeping with barely legal teens on spring break, signing brand deals, even being the subject of a new rap song. What? How'd I miss this? Oh yeah, because of her fake rap boyfriend. Bonnie has never heard of taking it easy, but that's probably why she's one of the most popular OnlyFans girlies right now. So what's next for her? Breaking her own record, of course. We might have got another case of an OnlyFans model crying wolf this week as Bonnie Blue teased a potential collaboration with influencer and OnlyFans girl Camila Araujo. Sitting down to talk all things OnlyFans, Camila suggested, what if we do 2,000 men in 24 hours together, so you just double it? Bonnie seemed double it passes the next OnlyFans worker. Bonnie seemed keen on the idea, but ever the businesswoman, she questioned the logistics of the task, wondering, would we both take 2,000 or take 1,000 each? Camila rightly pointed out that Bonnie had already taken 1,000, so perhaps she was more up for the task. Maybe I need to start off slow, Camila questioned, to which Bonnie replied, I don't know, because you might as well start off big. Great advice, Muppet. Camila then wondered whether she could pick the sizes, and Bonnie urged her to pick smaller ones so it would be easier. The clip, which was uploaded to Instagram and TikTok, ended with a pinky swear and 2,000 men, you heard it here first, folks. The video, which is obviously a desperate attempt at going viral, is almost undoubtedly to be taken in jest. Not only would 2,000 men in 24 hours require immense planning, but Bonnie wasn't even able to make tons of cash from her initial record break because OnlyFans removed it. That being said, she did her January event in just 12 hours, so maybe 2,000 men isn't as impractical as I first thought. Nonetheless, people in the comments seemed to buy their pitch as one person confessed, I can't believe I'm hearing two girls plan this. They might have fully given up on Bonnie, but they implored Camila to think about it first. No, I love Camila, but what the hell, one person said, as another wrote, please don't girl, you're too good for that. Will we see a 2,000 man stunt from Bonnie in the near future? Probably not, but she's undoubtedly got other viral moments ready and waiting. And finally, Bonnie just broke another world record. This weekend, Bonnie Blue broke another world record. Honestly, I'm tired at this point, so she must be exhausted. Last week, she revealed plans for her most gross stunt yet. Remember 1,000 guys? Yep. Of course, not even saying it anymore. Bonnie said she was planning on live streaming a group event over the weekend and put it on her OnlyFans. Look at that picture of all of them. Look at that first picture. It doesn't even look like they're actually wearing balaclavas. It looked like someone scribbled their faces out on like MS Paint or whatever. The event was due to happen on Sunday 6th, and Bonnie has since been posting about completing it. She shared a post from someone wishing her congratulations and another from OnlyFans creator Julia Filippo. Julia shared a picture of herself and Bonnie there, and Bonnie added, thank you for coming, beautiful. In the picture, a huge group of men can be seen gathering around a bed. They're wearing blue balaclavas to protect their identities. Podcast host Ryan Powell, is he related to Glenn Powell, also shared a video of himself and Bonnie Blue surrounded by the guys. Okay, but is it out? Bonnie Blue gangbang. I'll Google it. Who cares? Oops, shouldn't have done that. All right, Bonnie Blue live stream challenge. That'll be more PC, won't it? No? Can't find it. Well, who knows if it actually happened then. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to today's video. Old favourite, old faithful, Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue reveals her plans to teach young people in schools about intimacy. Let's go through this and then let's discuss this like the mature adults we are. The mature 40-year-old adults. I'm joking. I saw the other day, I watched the Channel 4 documentary about her, and there was one scene of her and her manager being relatively normal. They were doing, I don't know what it's called, they were doing some sort of like little craft activity together. It was quite nice. She could just be doing that instead of doing what she does. I'm just completely desensitized at this point, let's be real. So anyway, yeah, Bonnie Blue reveals her plans to teach young people in schools about intimacy. Any school board that lets Bonnie Blue go within like 100 meters of their school probably should be reported to Ofsted. Bonnie Blue isn't shy about what she does, and now she's saying she'd love to go to schools and teach young people about sex. She wants to show them how it really works behind closed doors. She wants to give them a live sex show or something weird. She's not claiming to be some saint. I mean, that would be hilarious if she did claim to be a saint. But after sleeping with 2,000, she reckons she's got a better idea of what young people actually need to know. No, they need to know about consent, babe, not whatever you're on about. She's already done her fair share of wild and unhinged stuff. From going viral with a 1,000 men in 12 hours challenge to building a whole career around doing exactly what most people wouldn't dare, Bonnie's made a name for herself by pushing every line. Recently, Lily Phillips shared about what she'd like to do beyond OnlyFans. Cheers, babe. That's the next video then. And now Bonnie wants to teach young people about sex. I would love to go to schools and educate people on sex. On the Joe podcast, Bonnie explained why she's drawn to sleeping with barely legal 18-year-olds. No, it's not just a clickbait title. She says it's because she genuinely enjoys educating them in the bedroom. So weird. What a waste of time. Oh, how boring. Imagine having to, ethics aside, just the practicality of it. Like, she must have a kink for it. How boring to not teach someone what you like, because everyone's a bit different, right? And you should be able to talk to your partner about the stuff that you like or don't like. But imagine like having to teach someone from scratch. Boring. Like there's an innocence and naivety in there, which as a, fully grown adult, I find quite repulsive. It's giving grown men who want young virgin girlfriends, A, so they've got nothing to compare them to so they don't get insecure, and B, because they want to teach them they want to teach them things. It's not just a clickbait label. She says it's because she genuinely enjoys educating them in the bedroom. I do genuinely enjoy sleeping with people that are younger and people that haven't experienced sex, she says. I enjoy teaching them. When asked what she means by teaching during sex, Bonnie clarified it's about physical experience rather than formal lessons. She was critical of the way sex education is currently handled in school, describing it as shit and unrealistic. True. Bonnie pointed out that lessons often ignore important practical information like what to do if you get tested for an STI or how to manage the results. Instead, it tends to be clinical and focused mostly on pregnancy prevention. It's unrealistic, Bonnie said. When the teacher tries to teach you about sex education, you're just ignoring it because you think, oh, what do you know? You're not with it. Are you thinking that? It should come from someone more relevant, someone people will listen to. Saint Bonnie, Martyr Bonnie. No, sex education in school should go more over consent, because we weren't taught anything like that. We were taught about the ovulation period, and I don't even think they did the whole bringing out the condom, putting it on the cucumber, because I don't remember that. And I feel like a lot of people would have found that quite, like, I'd have remembered people laughing about that if we'd been taught about that. But we weren't taught about consent or anything of the sort. There are a few things that happened to me as a teenager that I didn't have the language at the time. I just knew it made me feel like weird or bad, but we didn't have we knew that, well, we didn't even know that. You were kind of taught that, rape is like, it's violent, it happens like down a dark alleyway by someone that you don't know, when actually most assaults happen by people that you do know. It's not as black and white as that, or even necessarily as violent as that. So there were definitely some things that when I grew up and became like a proper fully grown adult, I look back and I go, oh yeah, that wasn't, I'm not trauma dumping, I'm just being bluntly honest. And also it doesn't affect me. Now I'm starting to sound like Bonnie Blue. That's a bit psychotic. Don't affect me. There are lots of things I can look back on in my life, and I'm not just talking about like sex or whatever. I'm talking about like drugs or whatever, alcohol, whatnot. violence. I can look back at so many things and just not be affected at all. So I'm like, different person. I don't hold any emotional weight to it, whatever. So I can talk about some things in quite a blunt manner. So hope no one minds that. Why should anyone mind that? It's my life and my experiences. But because we didn't have those consent chats in school, there were definitely some things that happened which wasn't okay and wasn't on, but I just didn't have any terminology to even understand or describe it, or I didn't think that it was maybe even that big of a deal, and maybe that's just one of those things that happens in life, which is a shame, but that's why we need to talk about this stuff now, and it's important that we all do talk about consent, and we do talk about it, like, so publicly in ways that, God, when I was a teenager, this wasn't even part of the conversation. But I think this is why boomers have that kind of like, oh, get over it attitude when people turn around and go, oh, yeah, I worked at XYZ television organisation and XYZ star, like, groped me. You get a lot of boomers that are like, sorry, that's just what happens. It's like, nah, it's not okay. Like, they think they're a bit too far gone to understand why it's not okay. Anyway, let's just move on because I'm just yapping. The podcast host agreed, saying it's awkward for teachers who might also be the disciplinarians to talk about sex with students. Grow up. Bonnie added she'd love to go into schools and educate people on sex, but like at the moment, especially because I do a lot of barely legals, I don't quite think I'd be let in at the moment. So maybe for like a few years' time, 10 years' time, Jesus Christ. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know from sleeping with thousands of people, quality over quantity, babe. Why does she look... Are you all right, Bonnie? What's wrong? Speaking in the Q&A with the tab, Bonnie has previously talked about how much people struggle with communication in the bedroom. Everyone wants different things. Everyone has different requirements, she said. I know from sleeping with thousands of people, everyone wants it differently. So they, men, know not to assume that every woman wants... They do not. They do not know not to assume that every woman wants it the same way. If they're going too fast or if they're being too rough, speak up. She added that the real issue isn't technique, it's the lack of honest conversations. You've got a voice. Tell them you don't want it like that. Tell them how you want it. It's easier said than done, isn't it? She also said, I didn't join this industry to say I want to change the world. I'm not the world educator. Why'd you keep acting like you are then? Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that Bonnie Blue should be allowed within 100 metres of a school? Especially considering you got an article here, all the footage and pictures of Bonnie Blue's classroom collaboration with 22-year-old influencer. Hi guys and welcome back to my slop channel. Bonnie's backlash. It's horrific. People slam Bonnie Blue as she promotes latest disgusting stunt, which is touring the UK from May 15th. Oh, the tour's going to last 6 days and begins in a few days' time. Oh my God, that's not that far away. I haven't got a ticket. This is going to ruin the tour. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you check out my book on Amazon, The Prime Minister's Porky Mistress, and, you know, give it 5-star or 1-star or whatever on Goodreads. I don't care. Just get it out there. And what else? And when my exams are over, I'm going to put a lot more effort into releasing more silly books, and I want to do one about a certain OnlyFans girly. Right. Fresh meat. Good grief, Bonnie. Bonnie Blue has promoted her latest disgusting stunt and has left people horrified. The controversial OnlyFans model has called viewers to question how is this legal after she reveals her plans for a dogging tour of the UK. Oh my God. Right, that's it. I'm mentioning my boyfriend. Babe, do you want to go see Bonnie Blue's dogging tour? Oh my God, is it like family friendly fun? Can you bring your grandparents? Actually, no, probably. How much are the tickets, babe? People talk about the cancelled podcast going on tour. This is my cancelled podcast, the Bonnie Blue Dogging Tour. Actually, no, that's... Do you know what? I will say this about... Do you know what? Sometimes I really don't like her as a person, as a personality. I don't like her. I don't like what she's about. I kind of... dare I say this, kind of do respect how she really has her finger on the pulse. What kind of pulse? That's the other question. She has her finger on the pulse of things that are current. Because I noticed the other day, I was thinking, why the hell is every single person going on tour? Yeah, the cancelled girls are on tour. Makes sense. They've got a podcast. Trisha Paytas has gone on some kind of tour. I think a few YouTuber commentary people have gone on tour recently. Who else? Someone went on tour the other day and I was like, what are they going on tour for? What are they going to talk about? Do you know, I think it was some of the right-wing commentators, like, they're all going on tour too. And I was just like, why is every single person, left, right, political, not political, entertainment makes sense. Political tour, a bit lame, innit? Wait, I can't say that because Bernie Sanders went on tour and he came to the UK and I went to see Bernie Sanders once. So I can't say, oh, political tour. No, it actually makes total sense for politicians to go on tour. It just sounds funny in that context because tour sounds not very serious, right? I'm sure Bernie Sanders didn't call it tour himself. Slavoj Žižek, no, he just did a show and I missed it because I was busy with my philosophy exams, which I'm only taking philosophy, so one day I might be able to read Less Than Nothing and actually understand it. All paths in my life lead back to Slavoj Žižek. Why is everyone going on tour? I know this isn't a real tour. She's probably just going to rock up in some car park and like stick her bare bum out the window. I know this isn't a real tour, but like, is there a lot of money to be had going on tour? Me, Evangelina and Rachel, we were joking about this, being like, oh, should we do something then? Should we do a show? What on earth would we do? I want to do the Trisha Paytas like singing but completely off key. Anyway, everyone's on tour, so Bonnie must have noticed that everyone is on tour. And Bonnie must have decided, that's it, I'm going to go on tour too. I do commend her for that. I think maybe when she's not getting her back doors bashed in, she is a little bit chronically online. Do you know what? It's kind of weird. No, I think I'm Stockholming myself a little bit like I did with Stephanie Meyer. Because I do feel like I would have a lot to talk about with her. I think, I don't know, but I can't really stand her. Weird, innit? Because it's not like, I don't feel vitriol. What am I doing? I've just had a coffee and I haven't spoken to anyone yet today in person. And I've got no one to talk to, all right. I mean, she's awful and she's so mean to other women. And I do really dislike her as an individual, but it's not like a visceral, oh God, I really just hate that person. It's more just like, oh, blurt out your ass, Bonnie. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Social media users accused the controversial creator of being possessed and hailed her upcoming plans as gross. Nah, she just makes me laugh, I think. Classic Bonnie, what's she up to now? Who's she banging? I think I check in on the OnlyFans girlies too much. I think I'll get a bit parasocial with them. I reckon she'd like me. I don't think she would. I think she'd fucking hate me. Right, let's see. Right, so if anyone wants to go to Bonnie Blue's backdoor tour, it's not even bum stuff. I've just made that up. She's just dogging. She'll start the tour in Bradford and end in Belfast. Any Yanks listening, if you don't know what dogging is, it's like when you drive your car to, there are dogging locations in the UK. You drive your car and you just like sit in your car and you wait for like a stranger to come up and then you all have sex. England is not a real country. They probably have that. Do they have that in America? Americans, tell me, is it called dogging in America? Bonnie, who was recently in Cancun, where she bedded hundreds of young freshers, blimey, she's really pulling in the overtime shift there, has now shared the plan for her next shocking sex stunt, which will say that 5 times, shocking sex stunt. Oh my God, I think I'm more unhinged. I think because I'm here and makeup free, I'm in my like pajamas, I'm not caring how I look. I think I'm even more unhinged. I think this is an excellent road for my channel to travel down, which will involve her visiting 6 parts of the UK for public and or semi-public sexual acts. The creator, who previously sent shockwaves through the country after she bedded more than 1,000 blokes in one day. I don't think she did though. I think the Lily Phillips 100 blokes in one day was a bigger deal, because then Bonnie did it and everyone was like, oh, that's crazy. But the Lily Phillips one was way more of a bigger deal and got way more mainstream, I feel like. Am I wrong? We'll kick off the tour in just 8 days' time. Bonnie, who previously claimed to be pregnant, has been branded predatory for romping with teenage lads, will begin the sex stunt tour in Bradford on May 15. Get your tickets now. Link in my description. Bonnie, look, I'm very picky about the sponsors I work with, but you should sponsor me. I will promote your tour. You give me 10 grand per promo. For 6 consecutive days, Bonnie, whose real name is Tia Billinger, will visit other UK cities, including Birmingham, on May 16th. By May 17th, in England, it's illegal to say Birmingham without saying it. That you have to. You have to. It's like Liverpool. By May 17th, she'll be in Skegness. Oh my God, sorry, I've just offended everyone from that lives in Skegness, dubbed Britain's worst seaside town, and then she'll head to Swansea. Where'd it go? Oh no. To finish off the tour, the adult content creator who grew up in Nottinghamshire and once wanted to be a midwife will head to Scotland and Northern Ireland. Good thing she ain't a midwife. I reckon. No. Right, fuck off. What is wrong with you? To finish off the tour, the adult content creator who grew up in Nottinghamshire and once wanted to be a midwife will head to Scotland and Northern Ireland. Bonnie, who ditched her 9-to-5 to become a cam girl and was recently banned by a Premier League football club, will then meet fans in Glasgow on May 19th and engage in sexual acts in Belfast for the final day of the tour on May 20th. The shocking poster promoting the UK tour has circulated the internet and left many in disbelief. Oh my god, Mystic Meg is still alive. That is massive news. Couldn't believe that. I used to see her in the actual Sun, because we used to get the Sun. Did everyone just used to get the actual real Sun newspaper through their door? We always got it every day. I remember seeing Mystic Meg and reading my sign, which is Aquarius, and believing all of it like an idiot. No offence. Horoscope girlies, actually full offence. Social media users were horrified by Bonnie's plans, and not only did people accuse Bonnie of being possessed and slam her as gross, but others questioned how her actions are legal. I don't think dogging is legal. Is dogging legal, UK? Dogging or having sexual intercourse in a public or semi-public place is not illegal in the UK as a specific crime. However, individuals involved in dogging can be prosecuted for related offences like indecent exposure or outraging public decency if they are witness that a complaint is made. Well, there you go then, guys. If you want to shut this down, I'm not saying if you should or shouldn't, but if you wanted to, one of yous would just have to go along, watch from the bushes like some sort of pervert, and then ring the police and be like, oh, I'm outraged by this is public indecency. There you go. Fixed all your problems. Stop crying online. If you want to do something about it, you're going to have to boots to the ground. I'm not encouraging or promoting anyone. One person asked, what has the world come to? Another added, it's horrific, we have to stop this. A third commented, it's disgusting, she has a platform on Insta. Meanwhile, someone else claimed she has a serious problem. Whilst one user asked, how is this legal? Another slammed, this should be illegal. No wonder our world is so messed up when stuff like this is happening and celebrated by many. I don't think people are celebrating it. I mean, I'm laughing about it, but actually that's different. Leave me alone. The Sun understands she will not be able to post any content from her tour on OnlyFans, as under the website's term of service, explicit content in a public place is not permitted. What's the point then? Bonnie, you're doing that work for free, babe. Don't you remember? If you're good at something, never do it for free. I'm pretty sure the Joker in one of the Batman films said that. Bonnie, what are you doing? You need a new marketing manager. I will do it, Bonnie. Give me the job. More stuff and boring. I don't care about that. What do you guys think? Are you going to go to Bonnie Blue's tour? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, more Bonnie Blue slop. Kind of takes on a different connotation, doesn't it? Bonnie Blue slop. Bonnie Blue's sloppy seconds. Bonnie Blue's sloppy 1000, not even seconds, is it? That's bonkers. Bonnie Blue sparks further fury and shares 2 tips to prevent husbands from cheating, claiming women shouldn't be lazy. Is this what I've been reduced to? Look, I'm just going to share something with you, audience. I've decided, because I've already started to falter on doing this. I've already started to get those twangs, those twinges of guilty conscience at doing slop content. I know, male commentary channels would literally never. That's kind of the joke, right? That's the gig. Ew, I was about to say the gig and the gag of it. Ugh, who have I been listening to? I bet I've been listening to Tyler Mojo. But that's the whole joke, right? Male commentary channels. And when I say that, I mean the sloppy ones. I don't mean the right opinion, because I'm friends with him, so I'm biased. But the gig and the gag of it is that these guys don't give a fuck. Do you think when they're basking in their tens of thousands of dollars, oh yes, it's that much, that they're getting per month, do you think they care that maybe it's making the world a worse place by gossiping? But that's why I'm sort of sticking to doing the articles, because with the articles, the journalist has done the work for me first and foremost, but the journalist has had to run it by an editor, and yeah, newspapers aren't infallible, but they've had to go. It's not like a free-for-all. It's not like making a YouTube video and just saying any old thing and having no one verify or check it, right? So I feel it's the safer route by doing the articles, but then yes, I'm transforming the content because I'm funnier than just these words on a screen. But is it lazy? Yes, it is. Anyway, so I want to tell you guys, right, and I'm only going to say this once. I've decided, the intention was always, once I do my A-levels, to go on and look at doing a degree in philosophy, but I found out recently that you can get a PhD in philosophy. You can be a doctor of philosophy, and I want that so badly, just to do nothing with it. And me doing this slop content, say I do this for a year straight of just like solid daily, twice daily. I'm not even doing daily at the moment. Big of me to say twice a daily. Got an editor now. Hi, Rachel. If I do daily content and I get that sloppy money, the thing is, right, why do I even care? When I first started started off on YouTube, yeah, I was doing what was called clown worlds. I said this in a previous video, but it was basically just reacting to like silly news in the papers. And even before doing YouTube, I used to do that anyway. I used to get those Take a Break magazines and like take pictures of like silly articles and put them like on my Facebook and make fun of them. I used to like blog about like silly articles or whatever. I talk about this stuff with my friends. So I don't know why I have these like crisis of confidence moments of, oh, but is it real content? Like, am I doing it for the money? Yes, because then it can fund me because look, I'm a grown adult woman. I know I don't act like it, but I'm actually like an old woman now. Really not. I just get more beautiful as what I'm annoyed about, yeah? I was doing my makeup and I was looking in the mirror and I was thinking, there's a nice looking person. Then I take a picture, right? I take a selfie. My cat looks like shit. Looks like pure shit. What's going on there? What do I actually look like? I've got no idea because I'm pretty sure this is lying too. Anyway, I'm going to fund my future degree. So it's not like I'm going to be like buying a Lamborghini. Imagine me in a sports car as if I can't even drive a normal car. I'm going to be funding a degree from this. And so that's... Imagine, like, I've decided, this is a little sneak peek for you guys, I've decided on the main channel I'm going to do a video, God, like, this is nothing to do with Bonnie Blue, I'm going to do a video critiquing a critique of Pure Reason by Kant. Is it Kant? Kant? I don't know, I don't want to get demonetized if I say his name wrong, because I've decided that I love him, so I'm just going to go through and just, you know, go on about how brilliant he is. I'm going to find something I disagree with and then be like, right, that's it, he's going to, like, he lived in the 1700s, I don't really care if he actually says anything out of pocket about women because he lived 300 years ago, like, I'll get over it, I'm sure. But imagine 10 years from now, I'm a doctor of philosophy, I'm brilliant, I'm one of the finest philosophical minds, I'm the enfant terrible, what they call Slavoj Žižek. Like, I've learnt German and I've learnt French to be able to read Descartes and Kant in their original and Russian, so I can read Dostoevsky on the... I'm just a fucking genius, yeah. And then someone writes a biopic about me in 200 years' time, and they're like, so she funded her education by doing what is now known as sloppy drama content on YouTube. I like it. I'm not going to shy away from that, actually. Screw it. It's unconventional, and maybe that's what the finest mind of the 21st century needs to be. Unconventional. Anyway, shall we just get on with it? I've been really depressed and sad today. Literally, I had a depression nap, and then I woke up in the middle of it to have a panic attack, and then I went back to having a depression nap. So that's how my day is going. How about you? Let's get on with it. Bonnie Blue. What she said now about womenhood, bodies rules. Oh God. Also, people shouldn't really read the Daily Mail or the Sun, right? So I'm helping. You don't have to click on the articles, you can just listen to me reel it off. Bonnie Blue has sparked yet more fury after revealing her top tips to prevent husbands from cheating. The 25-year-old, I don't really want tips from Bonnie Blue about how to maintain a marriage considering she's a divorcee or is in the process of getting divorced. Don't really want your tips on how to keep a marriage alive and healthy, seeing as you can't fucking do it, Bonnie. The 25-year-old who has become one of the most controversial figures in the world. That's so annoying. That should be my title. That's so unfair. I'm so unappreciated in my own time. After claiming to have slept with more than 1,000 men in 12 hours, still don't really believe it, explained that, for starters, women shouldn't be lazy. Oof. Bonnie. It's a hard 25, innit? Sorry. It's a cheap shot every single time. Look, she's slagging off all of womanhood, so I'm allowed to. Let's continue. Find this philosophical mind of the 21st century here. Posting online, the blonde bombshell said, I thought I'd give you some tips on how to prevent your husband from cheating. You can even prevent your husband from leaving, babe. Bonnie, who's going through a divorce, I read that as like trough, and then I got confused. From husband Ollie Davidson, whom she married in 2022. See, not even 3 years. Didn't even last 3 years in her marriage. Wives, ladies, husbands, don't listen to Bonnie. Firstly advised, 1, don't be lazy. You can talk about laziness, body. For that 1,000 men challenge, I've seen some pictures of it. You were just lying on some ottomans. Talk about lazy. Can't be bothered to get up, could you? Whilst they all dipped one in that. So vile. The OnlyFans creator who grew up in Nottinghamshire. Like, do you know what? If she... I don't know if she does have a degree, but like, say she used all of this money to fund her own PhD and then like became, I don't know, like a Nobel Peace Prize contender in 10 years' time. I'd be like, fair play, body, fair play. You had us in the first half. You had us in the first 5,000 men. But she's just using it to go on holidays. Who cares? Who grew up in Nottinghamshire and once wanted to be a midwife. That's another type of wife she's failed at being then. Oh... Then added, second of all, actually pleasure him. Don't talk about pleasure. Those men got what, 40 seconds each going in and out of you? 40 seconds. How is that the be-all end-all of pleasure, body? Don't even talk to me. It's no surprise that Body, who has previously been branded predatory for romping with teenage lads, on second thoughts, her being controversial isn't something for me to be jealous of, is it? Has left people fuming. Her comments came after she slept with 1,057 men just 12 hours, breaking the world record previously held by Lisa Sparks, who slept with 919 men in a day in 2004. The short clip, is that it? A whole article just on that. Oh, behave, The Sun. Thank God I went on about nothing for the first 5 minutes of this video. Gotta get that mid-roll ads revenue so I can fund my PhD. That's definitely gonna happen. I'm gonna have to go to a university. This is the thing, right? Because you can do some of them remote, but my boyfriend thinks I should actually have a university experience and go to and I was like, I don't want to socialise with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And he was like, no, like, I think you'd really like it, actually. Not the socialising with 20-year-old parts. Hopefully there'll be people more my age doing courses too. I'm like in such a tizzy, right? I get so ahead of myself. I was like, oh, but I'm going to have to go to a good uni that, you know, takes, like, has a good philosophy department. So I was Googling it. And, you know, Oxford comes up and they want like 3 A stars minimum or something like that. So it's like, oh, I'm going to have to like quickly do some other A levels and make sure I get A stars, whatever. Like any of this is going to happen. It will happen. I will go to university, but I'm not going to go to Oxford. So apparently you have to do like a little interview and they have to see if you're Oxford material. Like, imagine me being like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. Talk about OnlyFans. Well, but I'm a successful YouTuber. I've got 2, so like, because this channel's up and running, I'm going to get to 100k by the end of this year on this channel. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm a successful YouTuber. It's my full-time job and it sustains me. You know, I'm living the dream. Me with my depression panic attack nap earlier in the day. That is the dream, folks. Maybe they wouldn't I think they would reject me so hard I wouldn't even be able to step within 100 feet of Oxford. Yeah, I also write parody porn about the former Shadow Cabinet, like 2000. So period pieces. Yeah, they would not want me so hard. It would feel like being back in secondary school and being around everyone there. They would not want me that hard. Anyway, it's just my life now, really, isn't it? I can't get a normal job. No one wants me. Oxford don't want me. No, anyway, right. One person joked, says the expert. Another fumed, no husband, no opinion. I agree. A third commented, coming from someone that is divorced, alongside the skull emoji. God, I love modern day journalism. Another angry viewer slammed, we don't need any tips from you, love. Someone else chimed in, well, we have jobs, kids, and really something more in life going on than pleasure in men. Meanwhile, alongside the eye roll emoji, another woman wrote, oh, thank you, I'll bear that in mind. The aftermath of her world record break, but this isn't the first time and we're sure it certainly won't be the last. Bonnie has left viewers horrified. Just days ago, Bonnie gave her followers a close-up look at the shocking aftermath of her jaw-dropping sex marathon, which left her covered in painful bruises and bite marks. Look, if it's consensual, who doesn't like biting? But I don't think someone, because remember the Lily Phillips thing where she asked the men not to, you know, finish in her face and in her eyes, and they did it on purpose anyway. It's not consensual, is it? These are not the type of men that you want to be focused on pleasuring because they are dog shit. In a shocking clip posted on Bonnie's official YouTube account, the sex worker was joined by 27-year-old Josh Lee Spooner, a documentary maker and photographer with 15,000 followers on Instagram. Oh, so he's just copying Josh. Do you know what? Get some originality. I'm so fed up of literally everyone online. I got so annoyed the other day, right? You know how people get the ick really easily? I do too. But I also get something I called I coined it today, in fact. Finest philosophical future mind of the 21st century. I call it the prick. This is what I get so easily. Don't you dare demonetize me, YouTube, because I mean it in the sense of prickly. I'm a very prickly person. I think it's my ADHD. I get irritated so easily and quickly because I'm a very impatient person, right? So I get the prick so easily about anything and anyone. I went onto my Instagram and I saw someone had put up a post of like a dog. I like dogs. It weren't about that. And they were like, oh, just, with the goodest boy or whatever. And I turned off my Instagram in disgust because I've noticed that everyone just sounds the same all of the time. Everyone is becoming one giant homogenous, like, oh my God, it's giving. And look, I fall prey to it too. Okay, because, on the surface, these colloquialisms, it's just a way of us fitting in with each other in this online community and trying to be up with the trends and the way of speaking. Rachel doesn't even know what Riz means. I know what all this brain rot stuff means, but it means that we become homogenized. We become the same. And that irritates me. Like, where's the human soul? Where's the spirit? Where's the spark of creativity and originality in anyone? Look, I came up with getting the prick. There's some originality. So I got the prick and I was fed up. And Josh, he's a documentary maker and he's doing a documentary about an OnlyFans worker. Oh my God, as if someone hasn't already done that. So I don't care, Josh Lee Spooner, shove off. You think I'm joking? My family are so proud of what I do. Yeah, because they get like holidays to Tenerife or something on it. Bonnie is now estimated to be worth 3 million quid. And makes around 600,000 quid a month on OnlyFans. I'm not going to feel bad about doing slop content. I refuse to. I refuse it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we've got more Bonnie Blue stuff. Bonnie Blue reveals the real reason for her divorce from her husband and insists it's nothing to do with her 1,000 men stunt. OnlyFans star Bonnie Blue claimed her divorce had nothing to do with her stunt and that she and her ex grew apart naturally. Appearing on the Bad Friends podcast earlier this week, the infamous adult star shared her relationship status with hosts Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee? Ask Bobby Lee how Tijuana is. Anyway, those that know, telling them she was going for a divorce. She insists it has nothing to do with her recent sex stunt. During the podcast, the sex worker shared details of the sex marathon, which she has since been accused of faking. Discussing her relationship with Davidson, her ex-husband, Bonnie said the pair decided to split after they grew apart. We were together from when I was 14 and he was 15. We got married at 20. We were together a long time, we just grew apart. There was no dramatic split up or anything like that. She insisted that the two keep in regular contact, with Ollie occasionally helping to edit her X-rated videos despite having grown apart naturally. Ollie was recently said to be furious after the OnlyFans star set a new world record by sleeping with 1,000 men. In a later interview, Bonnie claimed that Ollie was in fact very proud and supportive of her success. I mean, it's not getting a PhD, is it? Elsewhere in the right, she says all of this, but then there was some TikToker, and I don't know where it is. I can't bother to find it. Some TikToker said that he is fuming. No, they didn't say that he was fuming. They said that they were still together and not divorced. Whatever. Elsewhere in the podcast, Bonnie explains that she posts daily content and 2 new videos a week to keep up the demands of her 400,000 subscribers. I never thought being a slut would make you famous. I know the Kardashians have got experience with it, but I didn't know that was going to be me. Bit rude. She said that her parents were proud of her, adding that her work enabled them to spend so much more time together. Oh dear. Bonnie addressed pregnancy rumours, which were sparked after the star posted that she'd been having cravings for her Instagram story. It was actually rumoured like Bonnie is pregnant. It's actually the first time I've let them run the story and not commented. And actually I've made jokes about it, she said, referencing the Instagram post. She said that she used the money raised by the media stunt to pay for other people's IVF. That was quick turnaround then, wasn't it? Is she lying? I want to see the receipts. God, look at that. Look at that picture of her with the Ferrari. She looks completely miserable. I'm sorry. She looks soulless. Miserable. She's got that narc stare going on, just looking straight through. Honestly, the lights are on, Bonnie, but no one's home. Bonnie has previously been accused of faking her OnlyFans earnings. I mean, if she's got 400,000 followers, they just need to be paying like £3 each for it to be £1 million a month, like post whatever OnlyFans takes out of it. So I don't think she's lying. I don't think it's worth it. She told DailyMail.com that she isn't bothered by the criticism. I don't need to fake my earnings. My lifestyle speaks for itself, she said defiantly. I'm grateful to the barely legals and all the men who afforded me my new Ferrari, and I can't wait to continue to use my earnings to give back. Loki. Can you give back and pay for me to get therapy, please? I'm fed up of reading this crap. Bonnie, who first found fame by sleeping with high school graduates during schoolies, freshers and spring break, said she's ready to do the stunt again, but this time with a twist. M. Night Shyamalan's going to be so proud. Next up, I'll be at spring break where I'll be paying the tuition of the boy who gives me the best orgasm and the one with the smallest penis. Imagine that. Imagine getting your tuition for free because you're not well endowed. Sex is about having fun, and I can't wait to keep giving pleasure to sons and their dads by relieving them of their fluids and their financial stresses. Can you be less grim? Like the way you say things, babe, can you not? I'm proud of my earnings, but I'm prouder of the volume of people I'm able to pleasure. The more money I earn, the greater ability it gives me to become more creative in the ways to pleasure in the future. Oh my God, Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. In the sun, blue blazes. Bonnie Blue doesn't think she's gone young enough. You're robbing the cradle, Bonnie. What's young enough? Sure, I can hear the cacophony of complaints if I dare make a nonce joke, but she's the one doing the stuff. Never mind. Young enough and is off hunting for the freshest meat yet with barely legal 18-year-olds. Fresh meat. Blah. The controversial OnlyFans model gained notoriety for bedding barely legals and shamelessly reveling in her exploits. She has now sparked fury by claiming she plans to sleep with even younger teens. The 25-year-old shockingly says she wants to find the freshest fluid she can after flying stateside for another spring break challenge. I don't think I've gone young enough yet, she mused. I want the most barely legal 18-year-old. What are you gonna sit there with a watch and count down till midnight on a 17-year-old's 18th birthday? What's wrong with you? Oh my God, she's so fucking predictable. This is why I'm writing a story about Bonnie Blue. Calling her Ronnie Red though. This is why it's so predictable. The next sentence, ideally just 30 seconds past midnight. You can clearly make this shit up. Not me, just imagining what it'd be like if we met. We'd have a lot to talk about, I think, to be honest. The caption of the video reads, "Spending your 18th birthday at spring break, let Bonnie Blue make you a real man." Bonnie is currently in Mexico and is planning to perform the shocking stunt at spring break in Grand Oasis, Cancun next month. Then it goes on about her 1,000 Men stunt. And then it says a video has since emerged of Bonnie, who has even been labelled a predator by disgusted critics, addressing the crowds before the shocking stunt. "This is for you," she said as she stood facing the crowd of men. "Like, I don't want it to seem like, I don't know, intimidating. You don't want it to be." She was quickly slammed for her absolutely disgusting behaviour by horrified people online, with one raging bottom of humanity, her and all of the men there. "What's wrong with you, woman?" Another question. "Absolutely disgusting behaviour, and all the men that turned up are just as bad. If you are a young lady growing up in this world, please know this is not okay, and you do not have to behave at all like this for attention." You don't. The commentator even used the hashtag #SaveOurChildren in their remark. Wow, with her trying to get as barely legal as possible, maybe that hashtag is apt. Bonnie came under fire recently as she brazenly claimed that sleeping with barely legal young teens is educational for them. How? Genuinely tell me how. And I've extensively studied this subject, Bonnie Blue. I'm still none the wiser as to how exactly it's educational. She told GB News that her stunts not only educate those I sleep with, but I also get a video that can educate the wider audience. So when I sleep with students or barely legals, it shows me discussing consent with them and also giving them an opportunity to tell me what they like. Wow, what a teacher. What a PhD in cock. Viewers were quick to praise Ashley James for her counter-argument. In the debate, she hit back at Bonnie, asking, what are you doing to teach young boys and girls that they don't just exist? Women do not just exist to please men. Agreed. Anyway, that's all the Bonnie Blue we have today. Hi guys, and welcome back to my second channel. Can you tell that I'm stacking these because my t-shirt hasn't changed? Anyway, for today's video, I just need to get behind a paywall. Ha! Take that, Daily Mail. This is behind a paywall, so I'm doing a public service announcement because it's on the Daily Mail. We're looking at Bonnie Blue yet again. I know. Fury of Bonnie Blue's rugby player husband after she slept with 1,057 men in 24 hours. I thought it was 12 hours. I heard the other article says it was 12. As friends expose the real story and the devastating fallout from her sex marathon, Barbara Davies investigates. By all accounts, the art salon held at 32 Portland Place in London last month was a rather swanky affair. Guests at the 18th century mansion in well-to-do Marylebone I need to look that up. 42 Portland Place. Oh, very nice. Ooh, looks lovely. Whilst in Marley Wayne sip champagne while admiring paintings by a Russian-born artist whose clients include none other than the king himself. Elvis is alive. It was, to put it mildly, a rather less exclusive crowd who turned up to the same address, a stone's throw from London's Oxford Street and just round the corner from BBC Broadcasting House, for an event last weekend which has sparked widespread and ongoing outrage, largely thanks to its jaw-dropping levels of depravity. Ow! It's like broke my eardrum. For it was here, in that, why are you writing like this? In the wood-panelled room still lined with expensive paintings, and while lying akimbo on the same black leather ottomans where art lovers perched just a few weeks earlier, this is doing my head in, that 25-year-old Bonnie Blue embarked on her sleazy mission to bed 1,000 men in the space of 12 hours last Saturday afternoon and thereby launch herself into the record books. Alright, we already know this stuff, so I'm skipping. This week, the Mail tracked down friends of the sporty 27-year-old, her estranged rugby player husband, Ollie Davidson, a hugely popular player at Long Eaton RFC in Derbyshire, who met and fell in love with Bonnie, real name Tia, when they were still teenagers at school. While Blue recently insisted Ollie supported her new career and even worked for her behind the scenes, yeah, she said that because I covered it in a video. A friend has told the Mail that he believes privately educated Ollie, the son of a wealthy businessman, is furious with his wife. Are they not divorced yet? And wants nothing to do with her. It's shocking, said the friend. She's got to be doing it for publicity. Sorry. What else do you think she's doing it for? Think she's doing it for a laugh? Of course she's doing it for publicity and notoriety and money. Oh, watch out, we've got a genius over here. These are the people that the previous article persons would say, oh, they're really smart. State the fucking obvious much. We all feel sorry for him. They're in the process of getting a divorce. They were married in 2022. How bad was the marriage? And she jumped straight into the arms of 1,000 lovers. More in a moment of their ill-fated marriage. First, back to the mucky mansion. Most of the barely legal teenage boys, young men who visited Blue last weekend, took turns in groups, spent less than a minute with the sex worker. At one stage, the horrified mother of one teenager is said to have turned up and dragged her son away. Lady, you need to have a word with your son, I think. Having reached her goal of 1,000, she went on to bed 57 more willing volunteers. After all, what's 57 once you've done 1,000? Just to thank them for waiting in the queue. She was surrounded by guys, said unemployed security guard. Yep, we already covered that. We've covered that already. She is currently earning, if she is believed, eye-watering $600,000 a month from subscriptions, an amount which she claims has brought her the freedom to enjoy life as she pleases. She is not the first to try and paint the porn site as a feminist platform for women to get rich and gain sexual agency. The company's Dublin-born, it's the Daily Mail, so it's going to have some sort of slant in it. But I don't agree with Bonnie, but... Mother of two, Kelly Blair, a former solicitor who studied law and politics at Oxford Brook University, has even championed the site for giving women choice over their lives. It is as those who witnessed the twisted events at Portland Place. It's so, like, I really don't fit in with anyone anywhere because this article is so pearl clutchy, but at the same time I don't agree with what Bonnie is doing because she's a danger to herself. She is a sexually transmitted disease danger to the 1,000 men as well. Like, she is a super spreader. I don't care too much about them though, to be honest. She's a danger to women as well because she's putting mid-men on pedestals who then, go out to the world, the real life, and interact with women on a daily basis. So it's all around just a bit of a danger, but I can't really take the hysterical tone of this article. Sinister snippets of footage posted on Bonnie Blue's social media pages show one man bragging about how he is going to destroy her. Yeah, but those men are such all talk and absolutely no penis, there's nothing that she's not seen at this point. Calm down. You and your sloppy technique ain't going to do nothing to her. She is a hardened, seasoned warrior. How on earth anyone could describe such a vile spectacle as empowering as anyone's guess. It's not empowering because, Look, John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham's theory of utilitarianism, the maximum amount of pleasure for the most amount of people whilst minimising suffering. The maximum amount of pleasure in this situation is coming from the 1,057 men who she has pleasured. she as a sole digit, that's not a maximum amount of pleasure. So it's not empowering for women because she's maximizing the pleasure of men. She might get pleasure out of it too, but 1,057 versus one person, there is such a wide berth between the two. It's basically over 1,000% their pleasure over hers. Even if she had the best sex of her life, it still don't compare to the amount of men that, so, you know, from a utilitarian point of view, in a way it can't empower women. It's empowering men. Guess who's having to do their revision recently? I'm sure Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill would be rolling in their fucking graves if they heard me come up with... Now, is this act utilitarianism or rule utilitarianism? Or preference utilitarianism? I'm sure they are rolling in their fucking graves to hear me include this in this type of video. In the past, she has come out of all sorts of sexist claptrap, including her statement that women who don't have sex with their husbands whenever they want it are lazy. As such, their men shouldn't be blamed if they look elsewhere. You know you're writing for the Daily Mail, yeah? You can't take a feminist angle if you're writing for the Daily Mail. Was it the Daily Mail or the Sun that had the countdown to Charlotte Church turning 16 so they could print bikini pictures of her? Which one was it? Probably all of them. If women were better in the bedroom, men wouldn't cheat, was one of her most recent declarations. Men look elsewhere when they're bored. Stop boring them. I'm going to say something controversial. I got curious. I looked her up. Not in OnlyFans. The other one, where it's just free to peruse. I looked her up because I wanted to see what the fuss was about. Her and Danny D. She was basically just lying there, being like, oh, yeah. So... I don't think, like, Pillow Princess much. I don't think you'll want to talk, babe, about being boring in the bedroom. I looked through it. I skimmed it. I was like, I don't get the fuss. Don't get the fuss. So the mansion is owned by a man with a reputation as sordid as blues, Lord Eddie Davenport. Well, she's in good company then. Who bought rather than inherited his title. Oh my God, did he use... What was that thing that then got massive backlash for maybe... For the controversial, the title thing where you could buy a thing in Scotland and then technically you were a lord, but really it was like buying a star, aka not really a thing. Maybe he did that. Is a fabulously wealthy convicted fraudster who gained notoriety for hosting exclusive sex parties, several of them at 32 Portland Place. Police have been called to 63 incidents at his property, including 2 alleged rapes. And this is who Bonnie Blue is. Well, attracts like scum, attracts scum then. Of course, she's such a pick-me. She'd be fine with hanging out with someone who allegedly had rape going on at his... Brilliant. Shows him leading Blue in a black lacy negligee by the hand in his mansion's lavish room upstairs. The footage accompanied by the caption, Daddy shows Princess Blah, don't ruin Daddy for me. Blah. Bonnie Blue to her throne. World record breaking party, hot British model. Blue's stunt, which began at 1 p.m, was attended by 16 additional staff, including 3 security guards, a fluffer to ensure the men were ready, as well as camera operators and assistants. Wow, she's really up to the production value of her stuff, huh? Must be all that money she's getting. When it finished at 1 a.m, she marked her so-called achievement by triumphantly holding up a sheet of A4 paper with 1,000 crudely scrawled on it in felt tip. She could have made more of an effort. She could have got an actual, placard for it. She claimed she only took 6 minutes of breaks during the 12 hours. Which means if these claims are to be believed, participants would have been allocated approximately 41 seconds each. But what of her husband, Ollie Davidson, whom she met as a 15-year-old schoolgirl? There was a time when Bonnie, popular local schoolgirl with Saturday job in Pound Stretcher, who spent her spare time perfecting her ballet routines, spent nearly every weekend at Ollie's parents' home in the nearby village of Kegworth. In 2016, aged only 16, she jetted off on holiday with the family on an all-expenses-paid trip to Mexico. Okay, how is this relevant? You mean a word count? After school, Ollie pursued his rugby career while Tia found work in recruitment. The Davidsons helped the couple buy a £250,000 semi-detached house near Nottingham. Cool, so they're spoiled. They moved to Australia, we know this. Tia ditched her 9-to-5 job, became a cam girl, remotely performing on porn sites after getting the idea from TikTok. Last year in a podcast, she claimed Ollie encouraged her new £5,000 a week career because of the money, and it gave her the confidence to enter the adult entertainment industry. It was just in a bedroom and it was completely separate, so he had no problem with that. In fact, the couple's 9-year relationship ended soon after and Ollie returned to the UK. The friend of Ollie's, who was a rugby club member, told the Mail, the lads are having a laugh about it, it's all banter and nothing malicious. I bet it's horrible. I can just imagine the rugby lads banter, hey, your ex is a... They're probably just being horrible. and none of them are as funny as what they think they are. But shut up. Some of the... I'll always find a way to have a go at the men. Some of the single ones are joking about joining in with one of us. Hey, banter, hey, I'm going to fuck your ex-wife, banter. I bet they would. If they had the opportunity, I bet they would. Male skets. And yet her mother, 50-year-old hairdresser, insists she is proud of her daughter, explaining that thanks to her work, we've had nice holidays and nice gifts. So I don't care that my daughter is putting herself in danger every time she tries to do one of these stunts. As long as I get a nice holiday to the Maldives, who cares? The family of her privately educated, estranged husband are less impressed by the young woman they once welcomed into their home. They said they want nothing more to do with their former daughter-in-law. All right, then it just goes over stuff that we already know because we already spoke about it on my channel. She began touting around online participants in January 11 event last December. In several online posts, she was seen stopping men in the street with a microphone and asking them, would you bonk me? How much validation do you need? Because you know the external world isn't actually how we perceive it and blah, blah, blah. Indirect realism. Oh, I'm going to bring all the heavyweights into this conversation. What would Descartes think of Bonnie? He'd probably think, oh God, it's that evil demon. He's trying to corrupt me with Bonnie Blue. She invited followers on... Those who take intro level philosophy know what I'm talking about. She invited followers on X, formerly Twitter. Do you know what? The rebrand hasn't fucking worked if we have to keep fucking saying X, formerly Twitter. Just call it Twitter. The rebrand ain't rebranding. Screw you, Elon Musk. Just bring your friends, bring your family, bring your neighbours. Hide your kids, hide your wife. What on earth she thinks now she has reached the pinnacle of her ambitions as anyone's guest. It really has changed my life. That may be so, but can it really be said for the better? In any case, she may have been wasting her time. Plot twist! Bonnie Blue may regard copulating more than 1,000 men in the space of 12 hours as a major feat, but staff at Guinness World Records would beg to differ. They confirmed this week that they don't monitor the record of most men a woman has slept with in a day. Ha ha, in your face, Bonnie. What do these comments say? People just complaining that the maths was wrong. Even though she was doing group sex, so it's just people arguing and being stupid. Anyway, that was kind of a load of nothing. It told us... what did it really tell us? That her ex-husband is furious, that she's lying about them being on good terms, allegedly, and that his rugby mates would have a go on her if she offered. Maybe they'll be in the next 5,000 men in 5 seconds challenge. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, let's see how much they earned from all these viral challenges. I'm tired of it. I'm going to need to talk about something else in a minute because it's just too much. Rank more like. Every Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue gross viral stunt by how much money it earned them. Blah, blah, blah. The two women earned serious bank. This is off the back of social media videos gone wild. And then that obviously bringing in ridiculous numbers of people for their primary income source, OnlyFans. A PR expert and founder of Cupid PR told The Tab that the two women locked in a war of viral stunts is genius when it comes to making money. Rachel, should we just, not sex related, but should we just like get into like viral stunt beef or whatever and try and out beef each other? Maybe like, you know, it starts with like, I hold up a poster being like, Rachel, it sucks. And then you hold, you hold up a bigger poster being like, Alizee sucks at like some, you know, busy intersection, and then it ends with, you know, us like renting out like billboards and whatever, just being like, you suck, no you suck. Should we just do that and like try and get attention like these people do? Because clearly we're doing something wrong. We need more attention, clearly. Anyway, genius when it comes to making money. We can conservatively estimate their earnings per viral moment by looking at typical traffic spikes and conversion rates from PR stunts of this nature, they explained. So how much money has each challenge brought in? Number 7. Bonnie's spring break from 2024, £190,000. Great British pounds. Bonnie Blue has been on her spring break trip this year, but this wasn't her first rodeo. Last year, she started the barely legal trips off. PR expert Lynn Karat estimated her first time would have raked in nearly 200k. Lily's backdoor challenge, 250. The recent challenge we've seen from Lily and Bonnie has been Lily's backdoor challenge. During the stunt, Lily slept with 50 men in just a few hours. She's been posting loads of short videos to Instagram and TikTok since, all of which will have earned her money. Lynn told The Tab her earnings will probably be around the 250,000 mark from both the OnlyFans videos and new subscribers and other social media videos she shared. I want to see the breakdown of this. I want to see the graphs. I want to see the analytics. Because TikTok doesn't pay that much at all, unless you get brand deals. And Instagram doesn't pay. Facebook pays, like the CPM on Facebook is I think it's like a max of $20 per 1,000 views. And people do quite well on Facebook, surprisingly. I need to get back onto uploading on Facebook. I keep forgetting. So I want to see exactly how much money she's made from TikTok. Because I'll be surprised if it's more than like a couple grand. Lily's 100 guy in a day challenge, 350k. So, Sophie, PR expert, founder of Cupid PR, told the Tab that level of virality on this video would have pushed her earnings up to £300,000 to £350,000 that month. Not a bad payday. Sophie put this down to a surge on pay-per-view content after it was released and the number of subscribers Lily probably got in the time following. Sophie described the stunt as a lead magnet for Lily. Bonnie's spring break this year. Oh my god, this picture of her. Look, don't come at me. She's so rude about how other women look. Look, sorry. Look at this picture of her. Like, she, compared to the 12-year-old whose shoulders she's sitting on, do you not think she looks like so old in comparison? And she has the audacity to talk about other people looking middle-aged. Like, so, not that she's looking middle-aged, but you know, maybe it's because they look so young in comparison. Anyway, recently, Bonnie has been in Cancun pushing her spring break challenge for a second time, and since the first time around she's become hugely more famous. Lynn told the Tab this year her earnings for the challenge would have been more in the region of £500,000 all through OnlyFans. Bonnie's 1,000 guy in 12 hours challenge, 1 million. Arguably the biggest challenge in terms of how much it got people talking was when Bonnie Blue tasked herself to sleep with 1,000 guys in 12 hours. The internet literally imploded. Since then, the YouTube video of behind the scenes has been taken down and OnlyFans has banned videos from the day. We'll get to that in a second. However, it's still estimated Bonnie's monthly earnings surpassed £1 million that month. This was probably from new subscribers on OnlyFans and other videos going big on TikTok and Instagram. Again, like, how are you monetizing Instagram though? Lily Phillips' average OnlyFans earnings, £2 million. Lily has spoken openly about her OnlyFans earnings. She said overall she's earned around 2 million. She earned her first 10k in her first month on the site alone, and she said she made nearly 2k of that in the first 24 hours. How though? Did she have like any sort of following beforehand? How? With that money, she started investing in property. She currently has 2 homes and was previously on the look for a third. Fair enough. Bonnie Blue's average OnlyFans earnings, 6 million quid. So she revealed that she's been earning around £1 million a month, and her first stunt started to go viral around 6 months ago. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to estimate she's earned around 6 million from OnlyFans recently. The grind is real. Is it worth it? No. But what was the reason Bonnie Blue's 1,000 men in 12 hours video got taken down by OnlyFans? Well, it turns out the challenge, which saw over 1,000 guys sign up to be posted on OnlyFans, is against the rules the site has in place. Because so many of those taking part are not only official OnlyFans creators, the video isn't allowed. A spokesperson told Mail Online, OnlyFans is a platform designed for creators who have completed our comprehensive onboarding process and choose to monetize their content. To keep our community safe, OnlyFans also verifies the age, identity and consent of all partners featured in explicit content. We do not allow large numbers of non-OnlyFans creators to be featured on an account even where release forms have been provided. Describing the day of the event, one of the men who was there said she had a camera set up. I think she said she had 5 cameras altogether. It was in the hall. It was in a hall. They were using just the one big room. The queue started from the bottom of the stairs, up a staircase, then into the room. She's got 12 hours of footage. It started at 1 p.m. and she was going well into the night. So it was all for nothing then. That's what she deserves. Can we talk about something before we start today? And if my hair looks greasy, ignore it. It literally goes greasy if I don't wash it daily, and I'm not going to wash it daily because that's bad for it. And of course, like, usually I put dry shampoo in it, but then I read somewhere that dry shampoo is a carcinogen, and it's probably not true. And yet, alas, now I'm just, worried about it. Why are those so big? Those are never that big. Hold on. So all of this to say, I've been very stressed out. And it's literally like I'm back at school, and I just got my response with the feedback, and the feedback was very good and it's very helpful. But he says that I'm working at like an A grade to B grade level anyway. And I'm sitting here just like stressing at home. And I never gave this much of a shit when I went to like actual secondary school and college, I never cared this much, but I have been stressing over this because in my head it's like, if I don't walk out of the exam with straight A's, if I don't get an A star in the exam, I'm resitting it. I need to get straight A's in this thing, otherwise what have I been fannying around with? And I've been given, I got given an extra year to get this stuff done because the close family member died last year and I just couldn't face, doing philosophy and thinking about God and death and the meaning of life. Couldn't face doing it, So all of this to say, I'm back at school and it's difficult for someone that is so ADHD that school was just like kind of pointless in the first place. Shall we just get on with the brain rot slot? I've got a lot to get through. So shall we just do this? We've got to switch it up though. We've got to cover like Lily Phillips as a Bonnie Blue. I think I'm killing it with the sloppy titles and the thumbnails though. What do you think? Is this valid? Is this a valid career? I tried so hard to pivot away from drama and yet here I am dedicating an entire channel to it because it's funny, all right? It's interesting. Leave me alone. So this one is from the Metro today. What happens to your body if you do a Bonnie Blue and have sex for 12 hours straight? Today we're going to learn some things. And by the way, I have so much slop content. There's really not enough time in the day. I might do a Moist Critical and do double or triple uploads because I'm loving it. I'm editing them all myself. It's fun. It feels like I'm actually working properly instead of messing around like I normally do. So, shall we find out what actually happens if you have sex for 12 hours straight? In light of Bonnie Blue having sex with 157 men in 12 hours, the same question is asked again and again. What, as a woman, really happens to your body if you have sex for that many hours without a break? But surely it's not even it's not like you're having a massive bonking session with one person though, is it? It's over 1,000 people, so a multitude of shapes and sizes going in there. One might have a normal human penis. Some it might be more like a duck's corkscrew. Horrible. No, stop. From the psychological impact to the effects on your pH balance. God, gonna really be wearing out that femme fresh later body. And the risk of STIs. It's a lot to put yourself through. Metro enlisted the help of experts to what experts? I'm a bonking for 12 hours straight expert. The help of experts to understand the infections and ailments and such so-called challenge could cause, and perhaps unsurprisingly, the general consensus is it's not a good idea. Tearing, oh God. I don't need to be reading this on my period. I don't need to be reading about tearing and physical trauma to the vagina whilst I am in my own tearing and physical trauma. I'm joking. It's really not that dramatic. It's a bit annoying though. I've got a headache. Probably because I've not drunk any water today. Right. I swear me and the viewfinder just moved. Oh, a modern day horror. What's that man? And it's not Kevin Bacon. Ethan Hawke, they look similar, don't they? And it's the thing in the computer, and he's looking at a picture, and then the face moves, and then I got that. Okay, anyway. If you're feeling a little sore at the thought of having for 12 hours straight, your concerns aren't misplaced. Dr. Danae, oh God, people are going to call me offensive, but I once mispronounced tortilla on my channel, all right? Marigothakis. From Sexual Health Clinic Yoxley tells Metro, prolonged, repetitive and overly vigorous sexual activity can irritate or abrade genital tissue or erode it over time, like the sea and the rocks. Did you know that at Loch Ness, the rock is all made of granite, so there's not underwater caverns that the Loch Ness Monster could hide in? I watched this, you'd need something like limestone. I watched this documentary about the Loch Ness Monster when I was 8. And they tried to look for Nessie, and it was a really annoying documentary because it was like, here's how Nessie might exist. Psych. No, not possible. So anyway, this will lead, not Nessie, but this will lead to swelling, bleeding, and discomfort. This means you could have cuts, micro tears, and you could be extremely tender both during and after the fact. Remember, sex is never meant to be painful. Wimps. I'm joking. STIs. You've heard this one time and time again. More sex with more people for a prolonged period of time leads to increased risk in STIs. And Lily Phillips didn't even know that HIV is passable via human fluids. So, furthermore, Dr. Marogothakis explains, irritation and abrasions, not irritations and abrasions again, compromise the integrity of the skin, which increase your chance of picking up or passing on an STI. See, you are learning things on this channel. There's a wealth of infections that could be caught. Chlamydia, herpes, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, Shigella. I've never heard of that one. What's that? Shigella, Nigella. 24% rise, little known. We've all heard. I bet you've never heard Shigella. Dysentery. Isn't that what people used to get when they didn't have toilets? It's not funny to most of human history. Who hasn't had a toilet? I'm just going to dab on everyone who hasn't had a toilet. Get a fucking good scrubs. Get a toilet, weirdos. I'm sorry. I'm just in a weird mood. Scabies? Well, that's what... No. It's not what pirates get. That's the other thing. Scurvy. Pubic lice, just to name a few. pH balance. The average woman's vaginal pH balance is 3.8 to 5 on a pH scale. Who's shoving a pH thing in there? This is moderately acidic and helps ward off infections. God, I bet mine's like a boiling vat of acid. Just because I'm acidic as a person. Not because I've got any problems. But having so much sex could throw this off. Engaging in sex for a prolonged period of time, you keep saying this, and with multiple partners, raises the risk of disrupting the vaginal microbiome. Is there a yogurt for that? Oh, those little like gut health microbiome. Like I get the Belgian chocolate coconut milk ones. Like 40 billion good things for your gut microbiome. Actually, normal yogurt is good for... You don't have to put it on the vagina, you just eat it. What is this channel, man? This can alter the pH of the vagina, make you more susceptible to STI. And you just know I'm going to find a way to put Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips' name, maybe both, double whammy, in the title of this video for the clicks. But this is a good type of clickbait, because then I can't even speak. Because then people will like learn about stuff. I'm an A-grade student in philosophy, apparently. We'll learn about stuff. UTIs, bacterial vaginosis. Bacterial vaginosis, BV, is the imbalance of natural bacteria found in the vagina. Dr. GP. What was the other one an expert in? Sexual health clinic. This bloke's just a GP. The privilege that Metro have, they got access to a GP to talk to them. For the rest of us paupers, have to wait about a year. Lawrence Cunningham says prolonged sex could increase your chance of developing BV. The introduction of sebum. Nope. Sebum is the stuff on your face. Semen. Lubricants, or even just the actions of having sex, can alter the vagina. We're not learning anything, are we? Just everything. Just maybe just shut that. What was that thing? Chastity belts. Maybe they had. I know it was archaic and designed to repress women's sexuality, but if even just like someone looking at your vagina funny can change the pH balance or whatever, maybe they were on something by locking them up. My new merchandise line is going to be Alizee chastity belts. Keep the horrible men away. Extended periods of intercourse can certainly make this challenging for some women. Oh, what a male GP. Oh, it would make it challenging for some. Way to talk down to us. This is my new bit, just dogging on GPs. That's going to be taken so wrong. You can't get in to see them. And then when you do try and ring them up, the receptionists act like they're the bouncers to the most exclusive club, I guess in a way they are, and bark at you. It reminds me of that thing of like, why are post offices like so chaotic and just like so hostile? Someone said that they went to their local post office and they were like, can I get a stab? And the person behind said, what you can get is a grip. It was me, I was the post office worker. Urinary tract infections. Women know that you should pee after sex, but the problem of doing it for 12 hours, oh my god. Yeah, that's true. Oh, Bonnie, I bet she had the mother of all UTIs the next day. Oh, diddums. It's a pretty common hazard of prolonged sex, explains Dr. Cunningham. With extended sessions, the constant friction and potential for bacteria entering the urethra increase, which it heightens the risk of developing UTI, dehydration, migraines, and flu. If you're doing any form of rigorous exercise for a long time, you're going to start experiencing symptoms of dehydration. The physical exertion and perspiration involved can lead to fluid loss. I think Bonnie was getting plenty of fluids that day, much like any other forms of exercise. Additionally, if alcohol or certain medications are involved, they can further contribute to dehydration. Dehydration can trigger migraines. We're really not learning anything new with this, are we? This is a bit of a dud in your mind. Prolonged sex session could take its toll on the mind. Psychosexual therapist Natasha Silverman explains to Metro the brain and body have limits. It is unusual for women to naturally remain in a state of pleasurable sexual arousal for a 12-hour period. Having sex when no longer turned on can be psychologically and physically painful and distressing and increase the chances of sexual interactions becoming traumatic. Disassociating. Lily Phillips confessed to dissociating in a clip of her crying after sleeping with 101 men in 14 hours. Dr. Silverman explains that this could happen to anyone who has sex for so long. Disassociation is a coping mechanism where the person might disconnect from their body or emotions as a way to protect themselves from discomfort, distress, anxiety, or emotional overload. Not to make it all about me, but actually I used to have like pretty severe depersonalization and derealization brought about by, stupid drug use, obviously, but it was like severe. Went to a doctor, male GP, told him I was having certain, shall we say, ideation, not because I wanted to not exist, but because I couldn't connect to reality. So, and this went on for months. I was having such an issue with connecting with reality that I just wanted something to almost shock my system and wake me up. I wanted to feel awake. I never felt awake or real. It was horrible. I was like panicking all of the time. So I told my doctor in more detail than that, because this video is going to get demonetized anyways. What do I give a fuck? But YouTube doesn't like you being really upfront about like certain things, right? So I went into more detail than that, and he went, "Poor you." Like, okay, guess I'll go fuck myself. It wasn't just like poor you, it was really condescending. Anyway, back to Lily. When sex lasts for an extended period or involves multiple partners, the sheer intensity of physical and emotional stimulation could lead to feelings of being out of control or detached from the experience. The psychosexual therapist also explains that this will be especially true if emotional distress is compounded by physical pain or if that person feels pressured to continue having sex, which she did, remember, because she said in the documentary that some of the blokes, she just wanted to give them a good time, and some of them were just being really quite nasty to her, or being like, I've come all this way and you've not even made me finish, is that it? And then she felt as though like they were entitled to it and that she had to do it and had to continue. No wonder she had like a breakdown afterwards. It's important to note that dissociation doesn't always equate to trauma. Some individuals might find certain levels of attachment or out-of-body experiences pleasurable or even transformative, while others might find them distressing. So, did you learn anything new? Someone said, funny how she has been promoted here several times, almost like it was a paid advertisement, and now there is an article on all the damage. Hard to believe. Everyone's conspiracy theorist now, but you're not even fun conspiracy theorists, not like I was back in the day. Fun conspiracy theories like, is the earth hollow? Because that's where all the lizard people live. And you can get there via tunnels or the North and South Pole, or all three. Tunnels only in America though. They go to the centre of, because there's not a core, there's a sun inside our earth. And was it the King Kong where they go to the centre of the earth and there's dinosaurs? Well, the theory came before that, so it must be true. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Let me know if you learned anything new. Let me know if you think maybe sleeping with 100 blokes in 12 hours isn't the best thing to do. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel for today's video. Bonnie Blue is catching strays everywhere she looks. I'm not just talking about jizz. So, Olivia Attwood, former Love Island star, has shared her opinion on adult content creator Bonnie Blue. Should we dive into it? Why does no one pay attention to me? I'm always here. People might actually. I just don't look, I suppose. I don't check. I don't care. My Instagram requests are off. No one can contact me. But I'm just here constantly shit-talking everyone and getting ignored. And I don't really know how to feel about that. Left out. I feel left out. So, Blue, we know what she did. Let's not go over it anymore. But Olivia Attwood, who fronts the documentary series Getting Filthy Rich about how people can earn large amounts of cash by selling adult content online, admitted she doesn't understand Blue or her fans. Does Bonnie Blue have like genuine fans? Like genuine, I don't mean just the blokes that are jacking off to her. I mean like genuine fans, genuine people that actually care about her. Like the way you guys all care about me and I care about you. I'm encouraging parasocialness, not really. Leave me alone. Like, fans is a stretch when it comes to Bonnie Blue, don't you think? Speaking on Lorraine, the reality star explained, we have these women who will put out posts and say, right, I want to sleep with 1,000 men in a day. I don't understand where they are coming from. It's pretty self-explanatory, Olivia. Money. But I really don't understand the guys queuing up. I just don't get it. That's easier to understand. Dogs. These men... I say I'm going to get told off. And also, no, I don't want to besmirch the good name of the canine. I love dogs. They're some of my favourite animals. My favourite Digimon is Garurumon, the wolf one, right? Now, I'm not a fairy. Where did that come from? Don't say that. It's a kids show. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let's just rewind. The men queuing up are low value men, and Bonnie is taking advantage of that in some way, but I don't really feel bad for them. The grown up men who are like, 30 plus and have like a wife and kids at home, and then they're queuing up and doing this, I don't feel bad for them. They're not manipulated in the slightest. I don't give a shit about them. The 18-year-olds who might regret it, that's a different story. Still not that bothered though. I'm not going to lose sleep over... Is that bad to say? I'm just being honest. I got better things to lose sleep over. The inevitability of my own death. Anyway, the former Love Island star revealed Blue would not be part of her forthcoming documentary because she wasn't a prominent industry figure at the time of filming. But I like the fact that you turned the coin there, because why are we not looking at the men? Atwood asked. Asked who? Is she asking Lorraine? Is Lorraine asking her? Also, I've been saying this for like months anyway, Olivia, so don't you dare get me on your... No, actually, I don't care enough. I don't want to be on it. Then would be publicity. No one's asking me anyway. Who am I even talking to? I'm shadowboxing. Sometimes I imagine myself being interviewed. Helps calm me down. How narcissistic is that? Why do we not... just air it out myself. Why do we not talk about the men that buy and consume this content and queue up for these kinds of experiences? I've been saying they are losers. But at the end of the day, they are the people's husbands, brothers, sons and colleagues. And that's the interesting thing to turn the spotlight on. And I think we should pay more attention to that. I agree, because there's one Bonnie Blue, but there's 1,000 of these blokes out there living and breathing among us, voting. Should they be taking away the right? Yes, I think almost everyone shouldn't be allowed to vote. I think only I should be allowed to vote. Comedian Catherine Ryan recently spoke about those who queued up to sleep with Blue in a podcast for episode, telling everybody everything, dubbing them all losers. Oh my God. Catherine, we should hang out. We're like spirit siblings, I think. What is wrong with men? She asked her listeners. I was transfixed on this queue of men just looking like fucking idiots in their socks and boxers with their dumb hairy legs just sticking out in this corridor. Dude, Catherine, that wasn't even the half of it. Some of them were sockless. Some of them had their dirty feet out on that dirty floor, queuing up, probably getting splinters, probably getting all manners of fluid in between their yuck. Ew. Love you, Catherine. We should be friends. Ryan added, so everyone is calling her a... of course, people love to slut shame women. And the men aren't even embarrassed at this point. They're like, I was Bonnie Blue's number 304, and they're making their own videos because she's like a celebrity to them, which is just sad, innit? The bar for celebrity is really just in hell. Following Blue's stunt, the OnlyFans creator broke down the logistics of sleeping over with over 1,000 men in 12 hours. A TikTok video. The room was absolutely full. Bah! Many viewers were immediately concerned with Blue's well-being. One person writing, Bonnie, this seems like you're torturing yourself, not having fun. And they were in balaclavas as well, and there must be such a primal part of your brain that is registering that as a threat. Like 40 men in a room in balaclavas all waiting to like take their turn on, but like how is that not gonna do a little bit of damage in here somewhere? At least she'll have the money for therapy, I suppose. When asked by the Mail Online whether she'd ever feature Blue in any future documentary series, Atwood admitted she doubts the veracity of the Only Stars content. I'd have to look at it in a lot more detail, she said. It's quite hard online to weed out what is just rage bait and clickbait and what's real. I agree, and also she's getting enough attention as it is. I'm not helping, but I am funding my future philosophy doctorate. So, which is like a degree in this country. It's like 10 grand a year. I said in an earlier video, I'm a grown adult woman, and I never finished that thought. So this is I know, this is like the next thought onto that. I'm a grown adult woman. I'm not getting into student loan debt. So I want to save up the money from this channel to be able to just like pay all that stuff straight away. Like, I'm a grown adult woman. There was a time for me to get into student loan debt, and that was like a decade ago, right? Check out my merchandise site, ayclothing.tmall.com, where you'll get these things and stickers and whatnot. And remember to check out my book on Amazon, my ebook, The Prime Minister's Porky Mistress. And if you enjoyed it, give me 5 stars. If you don't enjoy it, don't bother. So the conclusion of this article is Bonnie Blue isn't the problem. It's the men who want to sleep with her. Well, it's all a problem. Should I be doing so many videos about it ethically? Well, I feel like it's one of those things where if I stopped talking about it, it's really not going to make much of a difference. Now, if everyone stopped talking about it, then me talking... I don't know. I actually don't know. Is it bad to give Bonnie Blue attention? She's getting attention regardless. And I think... I don't have that much stock in my own opinions, to be honest. I think most of my opinions are stupid, and then I'd like forget them a week later, you know? Like, I don't think, contrary to all the stuff I say, I don't think I'm some sort of, like, social commentary genius. But I do think I can give more of a... I don't know, I guess a slightly different perspective on things, because like there are lots of dissenters to this who are coming from like a very shrill, religious, all porn is bad angle. I'm not saying like porn is good, but porn is kind of going to happen regardless, and I feel like maybe it's better if it's in a setting where things are regulated and done properly. But I'm not sure. I'm going to keep doing content on it because I do find it interesting as well. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This was going to be a slop video, but actually I've decided I'm going to put it on my main channel instead. Actually, it's not even clickbait. Wait, it's literally not even a clickbait title. I am defending Bonnie Blue. The stars have aligned. It's a leap year. I found like a 6-leaf clover. I am defending Bonnie Blue. Pigs are flying right now. It's cats and dogs living together. Hysteria. I was bored perusing the internet last night and I found this interview. 2 women who will never agree. The Bonnie Blue interview. The standoff. I was like, sure, half an hour long. Nice. Digestible. I'll watch it. Wow. Let's just get into it. Firstly, right, this channel is like 400,000+ subscribers. Bad audio. You can hear the crackling. Bad audio. First of all. Any word, anyone? Hey, Bonnie. Look, I'm defending you, but still. I'm delusional. We're not even into this yet. I genuinely believe if I sat down with Bonnie, we would have a much more productive, more fun chat than what happens in this interview. Let's get on with it. Do you know what I've Stockholmed myself into liking about Bonnie Blue? I love her soulless gaze. I know this is a video where I'm defending her and I'm still getting the shots in. If you look at her eyes, there is not, and people will go, oh yes, well she's disassociated because of, you know, what she's like put her body through. I don't believe that, man. So I don't believe in souls, but I do believe that if souls do exist, some people don't have them, and I think Bonnie is one. Isn't that a crazy thing to say about someone? But you know what I mean? There's just not an awareness behind those eyes. But I love it. It's so good in this interview. She is my chaos demon in this. I was so surprised by that. I thought it'd be more. Because when she goes on these freshers weeks and she like bonking hundreds of blokes, teenagers, like every month or whatever. And she did 1,001 day, right? So how is it only, quotations, 2,000 people? I thought it'd be higher, man. Like Russell Brand's done like what? Like Gene Simmons has done like 10k. Russell Brand's done like 5 or 6k. Come on, Bonnie. Do you know what? Actually, you're quite lazy, Bonnie Blue. You could be trying a lot harder, couldn't you? No, I was shocked too. That's so low. I genuinely thought she was on like more like 5,000 because the way that she talks, how these freshers and these events she does goes down. I thought it would be way more, unless she's lying about some things. My viewpoint on Bonnie has changed quite a bit because I ingest so much of her content, not that kind of content. I ingest so much of this, right? So, you know, because when she does interviews and other podcasts, the comments will always be like, look at those eyes, like she's broken, it's gonna really come back to haunt her in 10 years time. I've swung around completely the other way. I don't know if this is bad to say, I'm just gonna say it anyway. I think if anyone was made to do this, it's Bonnie Blue. Because I think that this is a crazy thing to say. So I'm just getting it in the first 5 minutes of this video. I think she actually might be a psychopath. I don't really think in 10 years time she's going to turn around. Because I might have said this once in a video, but I don't agree with it anymore. I don't think in 10 years time she's going to turn around and be like, oh yes, what I did was really damaging to myself and I'm full of regret. I don't think she's going to do that. I think if she does, it might just be a ploy for, I don't know, a new grift or attention or whatever. I don't think she's going to regret it. I don't think she's capable of remorse or regret. I think she is actually genuinely a bit psychotic in that sense. And that's why she has that kind of like narcissistic like stare where she's looking through people. She's doing things entirely for shock value with no remorse. She doesn't care about how she comes across to others or doesn't even care about the effects of what she does, how it affects other people. because there's some choice feminism talk, not that they use those words, of course, in this as well. And it's like, oh, we don't exist in a vacuum, though. Your body, your choice. Same time, we don't exist in a vacuum, and the things that we do publicly do affect like one another, especially. Not the person to really get into it, but I understand. Right? She uses others for her OnlyFans, her gratification, to be an object of desire in like men's eyes. She loves that because she gets something out of it. It's very transactional. And I've noticed, because again, I've watched like quite a lot of her at this point, I've never actually seen her express real emotions. I've never seen her laugh. Like a genuine, like not a sort of masking, trying to laugh to look a bit human, like a genuine laugh of joy. I've never seen it. So I'm now of the opinion that actually she's always been a little bit psychotic, which is fine, fair enough. And she's not going to regret it in 10 years' time. And if she turns around and does, I think it's just going to be something that she says to try and get people on side for whatever like new thing she wants to do for attention. And I don't mean any of that as like a criticism. That's just my analysis of her, and I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist or anything. That's just what I think. I might be wrong. I don't think I am wrong though, because, and we'll see in this interview, she is so cool she's so unfazed, unflappable under pressure. The interviewer starts getting really emotional, which is where she loses the interview immediately. Like in another minute or so, you're going to see what I mean. And Bonnie is completely unfazed. She's like, yeah, call me whatever, I don't care, okay. Well, nothing phases her. And I don't think it's disassociation. I think it's this kind of detachment that can only come from being a bit of a psychopath. And again, I'm not even saying that in a derogatory way. Like, I think sometimes I'm a bit of a sociopath because I'm pretty sure I can turn off and on my empathy. Remember once when Logan Paul said, I think all of us have, like, sociopathic traits, and people went nuts over it, and they're like, oh my God, he called himself a sociopath, that's crazy. He's a sociopath, he's, like, evil. And it's like, he's not evil for saying that. He's bad for doing certain things, but he's not evil for just saying, yeah, like, some of us do have sociopathic traits. What's wrong with acknowledging that? I definitely do it. That's bad. But I try not to. Right, let's just get on with this before I lose everyone. What part of Bonnie Blue do you think could go into acting? She can't even emote. She can't express joy or laugh, but she's going to be an actress? What are you talking about? It's just what she's into, all right? You'll see, guys, in like 20 minutes time. Right. I've already watched this the whole way through, so I'm already... Weirdest sentence ever, never thought would come out of my mouth. I'm already on Bonnie's side because I've seen this interview. Okay, so just hold your horses. Don't condemn me yet. 40 seconds each, babe. Work it out. See? Told ya. Bonnie, we should team up. Not in that way. Oh, God. Guys, this always happens. I just find the most awful people to be so funny. It's literally one of my biggest character flaws. Finding terrible people hilarious and then getting a bit, like, attached in my head to them and then getting in trouble for it. This is what I mean. Blank. No emotion, no expression. And I don't think... Because she was blank and expressionless even way back in the GK Barry interview. I think that's just who Bonnie is. She probably was like that as a child, as a teenager. All pleasure is just short stops until the next burst of pleasure, whether that's eating or sleeping or sex or drinking. If you really want to get into it. 4 minutes, 40 seconds into this interview, she turns around this interviewer, it comes up later on exactly why she has biases, and I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert. It's essentially... conservatism dressed up as spirituality. And I know me even saying conservatism, like some idiot's gonna be like, oh, what, so liberals think it's okay to like sleep with 1,000 men in 12 hours? It's like, that's not what I'm saying. Don't do that stupid argument. But there are certain... Do you know what? We'll just get into it. This is an interview, right? And this lady, I think this is her job. She does interview people on this channel, on other things or whatever. I briefly looked into her. Within 5 minutes, calling someone else disgusting and saying you have no respect for yourself, how do you expect to get... She's getting emotional, right? Immediately resorting to ad hominem attacks. Other people resort to ad hominem attacks because they get emotional, because they're angry, or because they're losing their arguments. I resort to ad hominem attacks because I just think it's funny. I reckon me and Bonnie would get on. That's so fucked up, isn't it? But immediately resorting to that, you've already lost the interview. And this is just the start of it, by the way. But what's amazing is Bonnie is completely unflappable. Oh no, it's so weird. I love it. That lady just sat there and said, you have no value. You're just letting people do what they want to, blah, blah, blah. You have no... Ooh, high value woman. Is that what we're saying? You have no value. You have no respect for yourself. And Bonnie's just like, yeah. Is that a challenge, Bonnie? Because I'll see you out on the field. I'm joking. No, thank you. So this is like the fallacy of choice feminism, which I was thinking of even like talking about some of the Sabrina Carpenter stuff, but to be honest, I can't be bothered, and I'd rather talk about my philosophy instead. My next video that should be up is about body blue and moral philosophy. FYI, guys. Choice feminism is all well and good if we didn't live under a patriarchy that exploits women, but we do. So our actions, unfortunately, don't happen in a vacuum, and our actions do affect other women. So, you know, it's like that horrible girl, I won't even say her name, one of the clearly just like pundits who just wants to agitate and says ridiculous things about this woman in America, I'm not even saying her name, who thinks, well, she says rage baity things and says women shouldn't be allowed to vote, women this, women that, women are worthless, blah, blah, blah. And some people could use choice feminism to say, well, it's her choice to go online and say those things, but it affects other women. Sabrina Carpenter expressing herself in such a way that makes a mockery, I'm getting into it and I said I wouldn't, makes a mockery of other women. Or do you know what I hate? I hate the old fucking fallacy of, oh, it's satire, because I don't think people understand what satire means. Not me, the satire king. Look at Into the Breach, the Paul Breach files for true satire, if you want that. Or Brass Eye, or whatever. Commentary channels like Leafy Is Here used to say outrageous things on camera, just bullying like little kids or whatnot. And then when they got pushed back, would turn around and be like, oh, guys, but I was being satirical. And it's like, no, you weren't, though, because satire shouldn't be indistinguishable from the real thing. And specifically the thing with Sabrina Carpenter and all the controversy she kept getting into. And it got, like, worse and worse and worse because she did, like, a Lolita-inspired... Shall I do a video on it, guys? While still being nuanced, because there is something to be said about the people who were reacting were kind of, like, some of them just were prudes and were like, oh, my God, she's... like, hair pulling is not a... And it's like, hair pulling's fine in a consensual relationship if you're both into that thing. Like, I'm not a prude. Chill out, guys. I'm not some prude on Twitter. Some neo-Christian, heavens to Betsy prude, right? But maybe I should just do a whole video on it. People that say she's being satirical, well, if she's being satirical, then why couldn't have the man been on the leash if you wanted it to be true satire? And why did it make a lot of women feel bad and not men? And even if it is a satirical take against men, because it's man's best friend and she's treating herself like a dog, which also I don't like that anyway, because also that's like mean to dogs. Dogs are wonderful. I like dogs more than I like people, especially more than I like men. If she was being satirical, yeah, why did it make women feel bad, or a lot of women feel bad, but not men? And trust me, also, men don't give a fuck. A lot of men weren't looking at that being like, wow, she sure told me. Or like she had a Rolling Stones cover where she was basically like just totally naked apart from her hair, and it's like, is that still satire? Do you think men care? Do you think men are like, oh, yep, I've been told, I've seen the error of my ways? No, they don't give a shit. So what was I talking about? Choice feminism. Shall I just do a video on it? It's a fallacy because we are still under a patriarchy and still taken advantage of and still not treated totally as equal individuals, right? And I don't think empowerment should be used as a catch-all term. Is it empowering that Bonnie Blue had 1,000 men sleep with her? So, you know, just on the scale of like pleasures, right? Bonnie Blue's pleasure, she only orgasmed 3 times, she said in an interview during that 12-hour bonkathon, whereas like all of those men, or most of those men, got their rocks off and had a really good time. So is that empowering for her? No, because it's literally 1,057 versus 1. So no, how can it be in any sort of quantifiable way? And my conspiracy theory is that some things are being pushed to women as empowering. Like, we don't really have true sexual liberation and freedom, do we? I think some things are pushed to women under the guise of, oh, but it's empowering for you. But then if it's still just like titillating men, how empowering is it? Anyway, that's maybe a conversation for another time. These are just some of my thoughts, and they're transient, they might change in 6 months' time. But anyway, some of those men who sleep with Bonnie Blue are married or have girlfriends or whatnot, so it's not empowering for her to be enabling them to cheat. Too long, didn't listen. She's so funny. I think she's immediately clocked what's going to upset the interviewer, and then she just starts saying shit. Imagine if she turned around though and did like a Nikocado avocado and was like 2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. And started acting as though like this whole bit has been satire. Would we get people clapping and being like, wow, she's a satirical genius for doing that? Because that would be so stupid, because it's like, satirical genius or not, all these men have still got their rocks off, and if there's something I'm against, it's against men getting their rocks off. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, my crazy beauty. See, this interviewer is just a little bit like, do you know what? If that were me, I'd turn around and be like, yeah, go on, let's see. But I don't. This interviewer has some like hang-ups about sex, and we get into it like in 15 or so minutes time. Whereas I'm just a bit more detached. I'm a bit more detached from it. I'm just a bit like literally just animals rutting. I don't see it as like this. Oh my God, I'm saying too much. I don't see it as like this magic. I just had a matcha, so I'm just on fire. I don't see it as like some sort of magical union between 2 people. It's animals rutting like on the Discovery Channel. Whatever. I'd watch it. I'm not paying to watch it. Bonnie, show me the video. And your birth certificate. You are not 25. Well, if the universe is infinite, then an infinite amount of things have already happened and will continue to happen. So I guess there is a possibility that there is a woman who would enjoy 10,000 men going inside. Bit of a lack of imagination on your part, babe. This is why I'm the writer. Not that I've been writing anything. Ain't that wild that she just called Bonnie Blue? That is so funny. Isn't that crazy? And guess what? It's not going to be the first time that she calls her a whore either. It's kind of crazy. I know Bonnie said that she's okay with it, but like, there's a difference to being like, oh, you're in your hoe era, blah, blah, blah. And then being like, X bucket, you're a whore, you're a slag. There's a difference, you know what I mean? I know it doesn't, like, Bonnie doesn't care, but oh well. There are sex shows though in Amsterdam, and when I go to Amsterdam, I'd like to go watch a sex show. Why not? Again, it's just literally animals rutting mindlessly. Look at her face. Look at the face I've stomped it on. She's... Oh my God. Bonnie, you succubus. Kind of love her now. Wait, no, that's bad. She's done bad things. Ah, well. But the sex shows in theatres exist. So maybe they would. I think like a lot of, if Bonnie got some sort of, you know how pop stars get residency in, I was going to say New Vegas, in Las Vegas, and they like perform every night there and stuff. Imagine if Bonnie got residency in like some club in Amsterdam and she was just getting like railed in an orgy every night. People would pay to see that. If I was in town, maybe I'd go in and see. Say hi to me old mate Bonnie. She's got like a slight smirk. It's very infinitesimal because again, she doesn't emote emotions, but I can tell like there's a bit of her that's just, she knows that she's going to rile this interviewer up and she's just going for it. And, you know, in my chaotic heart of hearts, like respects like she's 25, right? When I was 25, not in this way, in this capacity, but I was a wind up and I was a bit of a troll and stuff. So, oh, what memories. Upsetting people. How awful. Bonnie, I think we're the problem. It did not, in fact, happen. Like David Blaine. So it is like an act. Wow. Can I come, Bonnie? Ah, yes, the 4 main criteria of man. The 4 physical types. Fat, skinny, big willy, small willy. Bonnie, what are we going to do with you? Prison? I like how Bonnie implies that by allowing herself to be open for business, she is somehow preventing girls from being assaulted. That's some logic there. Which is crazy. The craziest thing, yeah. If you look on some sites to see what the fuss is about, I have done. What's the big deal? See what the fuss is about. All I'm saying is she doesn't half just lay there and make some bored noises. That's the funniest part of all of this to me. Like, I don't see this kind of like sex demon nymph so much. Like, we hear about it, we hear all the chat, but then if you actually see, I'm not suggesting anyone does, but if you actually see some of these videos, it's just a bit dull. She's very Jay from In-Betweeners. Big Jay from In-Betweeners energy. Bonnie. It's very passive aggressive, isn't it? Just come out and be like, no, shut up, Bonnie. You know what I mean? Like, they're very passive aggressive. And like, by showing that like visibly she's getting affected by the things Bonnie is saying. Bonnie, that's like blood to a shark. She knows that, and she's going to keep pressing, and she's going to say the things that wind this person up even more. See, this, if I was doing this, which I wouldn't anyway, because I don't really care, but this is the part where I would turn around and be like, well, actually, at some of these events, not Bonnie's, but Lily's and whoever's, they have done social media content speaking to some of the blokes. In fact, I think Bonnie has even done a little bit of social media content speaking to some of the blokes who come to these events. And sometimes just from these little snippets, like, that's all I really need to know about them, because you can tell when someone's just a bit stupid or morally bankrupt, because a few of them have admitted, oh yes, I have a girlfriend or I have a wife or whatever. Usually they're wearing like a balaclava or whatever. So the interviewer should have been more prepped for this, should have done more research, because she could have easily answered this by being like, actually, there have been people who have been at these events, blokes, I mean, who have gone to and I know this because my slop channel, To Alizee, Too Furious, I cover a lot of the Bonnie Blue stuff and the Lily Phillips, whatever, stuff. And let's be real, the audience of Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, like, the Venn diagram is just a circle, right? So there have been newspaper interviews with some of the people who have gone to these events, and you can just tell they're a bit stupid. And yeah, if you have a wife and girlfriend and you haven't you're in a monogamous relationship and then you go and cheat on them by shagging Bonnie Blue and having it be on OnlyFans, that does tell me all I need to know about a person. But the interviewer just starts being like, no, they're disgusting, and won't give actual reasons as to why, because in monogamous relationships people should be open and honest. In polyamorous relationships you can still cheat. People should be open and honest. Relationships of any kind with people that you allegedly or supposedly care about should be open and honest. So, you know, if there was a relationship, a polyamorous one, where the guy wants to bonk Bonnie Blue, he tells his polyamorous girlfriend and she goes, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, that's fine, I'm not going to have an issue with that. But anyway, to be honest, Bonnie, I would just judge all men for anything anyway, not even having sex with you or not. And from the clips and articles and whatever we have seen, none of them are Einsteins. Though isn't that ironic? Wasn't he a bit of a nympho? So was Jeremy Bentham, the founder of utilitarianism. Everyone's just so sex mad. I feel like Immanuel Kant, just like, what's wrong with you rutting animals? Blokes are as well, though, Bonnie. There are some blokes who give the other blokes pushback, and like most of my friends are dudes, and they're just like, oh, imagine going to a Bonnie Blue orgy. So you shouldn't pick on women so much, Bonnie. Then I'd have less issues with you. I'm not even getting into the barely legal stuff. I can't be bothered anymore. See, I'm like in the middle, because I'm like Aristotle. I think, and because I know this woman's viewpoints on sex, and it basically is don't have sex with more than one person, and it will come up in less than 10 minutes, and it's not scientifically backed. So I'm quite biased against this interview already, because some of the stuff, garbage she comes out with in 12 minutes time is not backed by science, and it's basically like right-wing, pseudo-intellectual, nonsensical rubbish by like alpha male bro men who have no understanding of basic science. She starts parroting those viewpoints in a bit to clearly back up her conservatism that is masked under the guise of spirituality. So why did I just start ranting? I totally forgot. Oh yeah, I'm like Aristotle. I'm in the middle of a bunch of this, because I'm not a prude like some of the people who are like, you should only ever have sex with one person and it should be lights off, missionary, close your eyes, don't defile your body for God. And I'm also not on the like, let's be realistic, it's not healthy to let 1,000 blokes drill you in one day. Like, it's not mentally healthy, is it? But I do think no one else but Bonnie could do it. And she also keeps saying that's just a fact, but these are her opinions, and Bonnie picks up on it in a moment, but it's like, these are your opinions, they're not facts. Oh no, facts don't care about your feelings. So this interview's going well, isn't she? She's called her a bucket, and she's just been like, the fact is, you're a whore. So all prostitutes are whores. Oh, was that a Freudian slip? Oh, how interesting. Most of the time, prostitutes are doing it because, unfortunately, they have to. So, love that judgment from the interviewer. I wouldn't make assertions about things that you cannot accurately judge. I do think that there would be some blokes who are attracted to it, but also repelled by it. And there are also some blokes who are just, like, quite misogynistic. So, they like basically being given permission to be horrible about a woman but get away with it in like this small socially accepted scenario. But yeah, also the interviewer has just lost at this point, because now she's just making assertions that things she can't possibly know one way or the other. Unflappable, unfazed. My demonic queen of chaos. Should we put her in the stocks as well and throw tomatoes at her? She could have called her out here and been like, you're just being misogynistic now, Bonnie. You've just said, don't judge the men who sleep with me, don't judge the men who speak to me. But you're making these blanket statements about all women. Women cry about everything. Women, they cry about being wolf whistled or whatever. She could have pushed back on it and been like, why can't you not be a pick-me and give women the same grace that you're giving all of these men? But so she doesn't. So actually the conversation is a little bit different, but I know what she's getting at. One of the issues of Bonnie is now men are acting as though this is just women. This is, yeah, a woman goes on, what was the example some dickhead used? Shall not be named. She's just, you know, getting a train ran on her. She's just doing what a lot of women do when they go to like Magaluf, Shagaloof. You know, in one weekend they get trains run on all the time, but it's like, I've never known a woman to act like that. Men are now using Bonnie Blue and saying in a world of Bonnie Blues. It's like, there's not a world of Bonnie Blues, there's not a society of Bonnie Blues. There is one Bonnie Blue, but there are thousands of men who want to sleep with her, 10,000 men who signed up, I think, to try to sleep with her for a 1,000 men challenge. So men are weaponizing the existence of Bonnie Blue to try and paint all women as Bonnie Blue. All women cheat and they have low standards and they get trains ran on them whenever they go on holiday. But the fucking opposite is true. There's one Bonnie Blue and tens and probably more than that, like 600,000 followers she has on her OnlyFans. 600,000 men who probably would try and like bang her if they could, you know? So should have twisted the argument back. But I also understand it's like it's not easy to, it's easier when you're sitting around by yourself, and it's not easy to do when you're in a situation where you are getting heated and someone is winding you up. That's why I just think like it's probably best to not do these sort of interviews in the first place, really, because the comment section, believe me, isn't on the interviewer's side. It's on, I believe her name's Michelle. It's not on Michelle's side, it's on Bonnie's. Yeah, but the men aren't listening though, Bonnie. These men that you claim to, you don't want us to judge, they're not listening, and they're trying to act as though we are all Bonnie. I am Spartacus. I am Bonnie Blue. They're trying to act like we're all a Bonnie Blue. So the most ironic thing too, I think, is the men that say that act as though every woman just wants to be a Bonnie Blue. You know that man who's saying it is shagging about as well. Everyone's at it. I'm Emmanuel Kant. You all disgust me. Everyone's at it. Everyone's shagging around and acting as though they either don't or they judge others for it. It's a mess. Again, aliens drive past Earth and lock their UFO doors. Wet wipes of girlfriends. There's no need to be sexist, Bonnie. You almost have me on side, but there's no need to be sexist. There's no need to... Why are you blaming and being mean about other women? Pick me behaviour. And the interviewer should be picking up on, you know, the things that Bonnie says is dripping with sexism. It's clearly not a fight, though, because you just called her a whore. Well, the media is complicit in that too, because little girls should not be seeing anything about Bonnie Blue, because little girls shouldn't be on OnlyFans. If the media wasn't so complicit and driving clicks, oh, Alizee, you're talking about this on YouTube. And yeah, and guess what? I don't think YouTube should be accessible for kids. I know there's YouTube Kids, but I don't think like 12-year-olds should be on this platform. I'm quite strict and totalitarian about that. There's nothing here for them, really. I don't think it's good for them. So, yeah, the media are totally complicit because it gets clicks. It would be so performative, though, if Bonnie Blue turned around and started caring about women. Like, realistically, it would be so performative, and I just wouldn't really believe it. Because that's not who she is as a person, you know? So now we're talking about, should she change who she is fundamentally as a human being, as, like, the final boss of being a pick-me? Should she change that to do something that is inherently fake to her character? I'm not saying yes or no. I just think it's an interesting conversation to have. Because I don't necessarily agree with, like, everyone who has a big public platform should be a role model. So all I'm saying is sometimes some people are just have a talent for something. So Bonnie, she has a talent for, like, you know, shock value and doing crazy things and getting in the news. Does that necessarily mean that they should then be role models for little kids? I don't know, man. Well, Bonnie, you are condoning that. Though, yes, if a guy wants to cheat on his wife with Bonnie Blue, there's something already wrong in that marriage. I do agree with that. But I don't also agree with, like, I'm going to wash my hands of it and be like, it's nothing to do with me if you've known and you condone and you enable the behaviour. Why is that what she's so affronted by? You'd have sex with an old man? Of course she would. I don't think that's like the biggest deal out of all of this. I love how she's like, it's illegal to murder people. No, body, it is probably in 99.9% of cases morally wrong to kill someone. Just leaving a little bit of leeway there, you know, for any sort of extenuating circumstances. It is morally wrong to do a killing. Bonnie Blue, it's not just that it's illegal. I do love how she sticks to the law so much when laws are created by people who are fallible in the first place. Like possession of weed in America used to get locked up for 20 years for possession of weed, and now in most states it's either decriminalized or it's sold. Weed here is sold medically. Laws change because they aren't created by God, they're created by humans. But neither are laws. These are just things that most of us can agree. You know, like killing being wrong is something most of us can agree on. And technically that's a morality thing that then got turned into like a legality thing. Oh my God. I just got such a flashback to, is the pious because it is loved by the gods, or do the gods love it because it is pious? Why does everything lead back to philosophy? That's from a Platonic text called Euthyphro. I could do a review of it sometime if you wanted. Let's move on. Morals are more taught societally, I think, environmentally. You know, because if we had no morals and no laws, if you go around just like killing people whenever, society doesn't really function. So I guess the guidelines help us function rather than maybe it's something we naturally have. Do we naturally have senses of good and bad? If you grew someone purely in isolation from all concepts of good and bad, would they intrinsically know and understand it? I don't think so. Wow, this just got so deep. You are hurting some women though, aren't you? Liquid evidence is wild. I mean, two things can be true at the same time, Bonnie. It is damaging, and it's damaging. Again, these things don't happen in a vacuum. So her choice feminism is damaging how women appear to certain men. But then there is the argument that those men are probably looking for excuses to have a go at women anyway. Because it's not, actually, oh God, I don't know what I think. Reasonable men aren't looking at Bonnie Blue and going, that's it, all the women in my life are sluts because they just want to be a Bonnie Blue. I don't know a single man in my life who would think that. So she's definitely being used as a scapegoat for men who already hate women. And that's what I was going to say about the Sabrina Carpenter thing. Her marketing team did like such an oopsie, because it's like, in today's political climate with everything going on, you really think this is a good idea. I guess again, like for Bonnie Blue, in today's climate, because choice feminism is largely a fallacy and an illusion, and we live under a patriarchy, is it helpful when so many men already just hate us? Is it helpful to be acting this way? Does it help other women? No. Does it titillate and get men off? Well, the ones who have been, wanking, yeah. I mean, women have been sexualized for a very, very, very long time. I mean, was it the Victorian era where, if you showed an ankle, I don't know how true that is really, it might just be pop culture like nonsense, but women be sexualized kind of no matter what. I'm being too in the middle about all of this. Huh? What wars? Are you talking about like Helen of Troy? what wars did men go over? Because I'm sure there has been. Tell me in the comment section below, because I don't know. Because I'm just thinking of World War I and II, and I don't think that's what happened. It's the way the interviewer can just insult her for 15 or so minutes, and then she asks her a normal question, right? And Bonnie can just engage so normally, completely unfazed, and answer it. No, it's not. You're not a real human being. But I kind of like it. Well, yeah, but like that, that's two ends of the extremes. Like one quotation extreme. There's not going to be any Christian conservatives in the comments, like religious conservatives in the comment section of this video, I'm sure, screeching about, me quotation calling sex with one person and marriage extreme. But like on one end there's that, because that's almost like pure chastity. You're one person, Ben Shapiro's over here, and on the other end you've got Bonnie Blue. The vast majority of people are going to be in the middle. They'll have a few sexual partners, some will have a higher count, some will have a lower count. Like that's the norm now. Obviously in some, saying that in some religious countries there are going to be people where, oh no, you should only ever have like one person, but they still like have affairs and shag about and stuff as well. So This is where the interviewer starts to get woo and ridiculous and completely anti-science and just like lost my respect entirely, right? So preempting that by saying Bonnie is a bit wrong here, though. It is a little bit. Don't want people to say this the wrong way, but like there is a difference between men and women. Men statistically are, on average, more dangerous to women than vice versa, and obviously there are women who are dangerous to men, but statistically. So when she says our daughters and like woman to woman, and Bonnie's like, why, what's the difference, it's quite disingenuous, because it's like there is a difference. So, and even men are victims too, but what they don't say, right, because when people turn around and go, oh, men are victims too, and it's like, yeah, but often men are the victims of other men. So there is a bit of a difference in that. Like, we should be safeguarding daughters more, especially in the current alpha male dominated environment online. Well, Bonnie, I disagree, because I hate everyone I pass in the street. I'm actually the weirdo when people walk past me in the street. I hate everyone, so I don't think they're normal. I think they're probably idiots too. That's a change of tune, innit? Because remember, Bonnie, you said, no, women should be doing that. I don't care if you've just had a pregnancy and you're all... She didn't say that, but she's changed her tune a little bit, probably because of the backlash before. Like, she didn't care about men pressuring women into sex before. So, softened, have we? Cheating, duplicitous, which if you're in a relationship with someone and you're doing something as important as raising a child, raising a human that's then going to go on and live in society and affect other people, it's important to have a good, open, honest relationship. Now, if they had permission from their wives, because I don't know, their wives weren't feeling it, even then I can't really respect it too much, right? And I feel like maybe women are being pushed to be a lot more understanding than they actually want to be, because a woman has gone through the like trauma of pregnancy and childbirth, and some bloke is complaining that he's like not good, it's like willy wet for 6 weeks. Literally grow up, go to hell. I'm so incensed now. This is where Bonnie is a bit of a silly pick me, because you're only getting that, because you only speak to the men, you're only getting that viewpoint from them, and they are on your website to speak to you as a sex worker. They find you attractive. They are going to say whatever they think you want to hear to justify what they are doing. Maybe they are getting a bunch of sex, but they just want more. Maybe they're not, but even so, that's a conversation they should have with their wives before they start trying to sleep with sex workers. Or maybe they want to have their cake and eat it. Maybe they want the family life and they still want to have sex with other people. Or maybe they're cowards. These aren't innocent little angels who just can't help, having a bit of a sex drive that Bonnie pretends they are. Not even because it makes her feel better, because I don't think she gives a shit either way, does she? Which is fine if it's discussed and arranged within the relationship, because otherwise, if people get found out, and they do, because they'll get found out because most people are really shit at acting, because otherwise they would just be actors then, and they'll get caught out eventually. Some don't, but they're the lucky ones, right? You are then just going to be in a world of hurt, and then you'll get divorced, and then half your assets will be gone, and all of this stuff. So there's just talk to people, man. It ain't hard. I'm literally a professional yapper. It ain't hard to talk. I'm always yapping away to my boyfriend. He's sick of it. Like, if it's just purely transactional in that way, just, them offloading literally onto Bonnie and then going back to their wife, why couldn't they use a sex toy or a fleshlight or do it? If Bonnie as a person, as a human, doesn't matter to these blokes, why can't they literally just like get a sex doll then? If it's purely it ain't, So I don't think Bonnie would care, because I reckon she'll be pregnant bonking other dudes anyway. Here we go. Strap in, strap on. We took ages to get there, but boy, we're finally there. Here we go. So let's stop there for a second. The DNA nonsense that she's parroting is often used to argue that women with multiple partners are damaged or pair bonded to previous men on a cellular level. It's purity culture nonsense. It's pseudoscience. It's not biological truth in the slightest. So maybe in some cases, in this lady's case, I think it's just a misunderstanding. But the people who say it are probably deliberately distorting the truth. What we're talking about is something called microchimerism, which is when small numbers of foreign cells from one body remain in another body, usually from pregnancy. And the most studied case is fetal microchimerism, when a baby's cells cross the placenta and stay in the mother's body, sometimes for years. But there is zero scientific evidence that semen or male DNA from casual sex remains in the vagina or somehow travels to the brain long term unless conception actually occurs. And even in cases of pregnancy, the cell transfer is small, complex, and not about sexual bonding or emotional imprinting. It's not about sex, it's about pregnancy-related cellular exchange, and this doesn't apply to sperm. Sperm cells do not embed in the body unless fertilization happens. Like, if you have sex with someone and they, finish inside you without a condom, and you go to the toilet and you've weed out most of it. And over the next few days, unless fertilization happens and you get pregnant, your vagina naturally disposes of it. DNA from a man does not and cannot live inside you for years. It is nonsense. Red pill men deliberately distort this myth to try to control women, to reinforce the idea of female purity, pair bonding, in which, like, there was a study, Rachel was, because we were talking about this video, Rachel told me about there was some study about, I think it was voles. I'm sure she's mentioned it in one of her hundreds of videos, like one particular species of voles pair bonded, and then men took that and went, mammals pair bond, so women pair bond, and that means we can't have like meaningful relationships if a woman has already pair bonded or had sex with another man. But they never apply it to themselves. Funny that, isn't it? They never apply this to themselves, because I forgot men can shag around no problem. They don't have oxytocin release. They don't bond. In fact, that's actually crazy that the men who say this are like, well, biologically it's natural for me to shag around. So it's like, so you can't bond with someone? You can't connect with someone and owe them your loyalty? You can't do that. Is that what you're telling me? So you're not as evolved or as conscious as a woman then? We should flip these arguments on their head. As soon as men are like, no, it's more natural for women to stick one partner, but men it's not. It's like, oh, so you're incapable of doing that because you're less evolved, basically. You're incapable of having like a meaningful connection with someone where you would choose them over like fleeting passion or one night stand. Oh, that's so interesting. Says a lot about you. Fucking idiots. Anyway, yeah. So sperm after sex, if the egg doesn't get fertilized, the sperm gets flushes out. Nothing stays inside you physically, spiritually, nothing. This isn't science, it's just wishful thinking for men who want to turn bad takes into biology. It's like, remember when they said, oh, soy raises estrogen levels in men? And it's like they got the data from a study of sheep who have like, it's either 2 or 4 stomachs, I can't remember, eating grass, and it raised estrogen levels in sheep. And they took that and went, that's why soy and tofu gives you boobs as a man. Because of sheep. Sorry, sir, are you a sheep? If you sleep with more than one person, you are a slut and you have no value. And not even that, you are incapable of having a meaningful bond with anyone else because you have shared your energy with someone, which I don't even need to get into why that is complete nonsense. Yeah, things are made of energy and things are made of like vibrations and particles, but not in this way. Like, you people just don't understand science. I barely understand science. I'm doing better than all of you. I wasn't a virgin before I met my current boyfriend, so I guess it's time to tell him that even though he's the only man romantically I have ever trusted to any degree, and even though I am completely myself around him and we share a life together, and even though I tell him all of my thoughts and fears and my biggest secrets, I guess it's time to tell him that none of that was meaningful. And I guess the only meaningful connection I ever had was with like my first boyfriend 15 years ago, because my first sexual relationship. I guess it's time to tell my boyfriend that even though in that relationship I couldn't be myself and I didn't share anything and I didn't have DMCs, or we didn't even really understand each other that much, he just can't compare to that first relationship. Damn. I guess I gotta tell him that the same applies, right? The same does apply back, right? Like, as he wasn't a virgin when we met, my current boyfriend, I guess he can't form a meaningful bond with me. The same applies to men, doesn't it, Michelle? Or does this somehow magically, like energy being divided, only apply to women? I am so sick of like, do you know, like, you guys don't even understand because you haven't known me all my life. You don't understand how much I fucking despise having to be half reasonable on this platform. I had so much more fun when I was like, oh my god, the moon is a hologram and it's up there to transmit things to our brains, and the earth is hollow because that's where the reptilians live. It was so much more freeing and fun to be that way. But now coming online and dealing with this misinformation, like Little Miss, oh, facts this, facts that, is now talking about a myth that's not even true, that got co-opted by like the red pill manosphere to control women, and is talking about energy being divided when you have sex with someone. But oh, facts this, factual this, factual that. Like, I am so sick of having to be lucid, semi-coherent. But what's the alternative? I just start believing absolute rubbish. I hate being a person of science now. I was doing maths the other day for fun. I hate this. Spirituality isn't facts, so, you know, there's no shared DNA. You are completely wrong. You are so wrong. Why are these people employed? I'm sorry, but like, you take on the role as a presenter and you're just spouting nonsense to validate your viewpoint. It's completely factually incorrect, and we don't have evidence of spirituality or energies being shared or any of that kind of stuff. We do have some evidence of MK Ultra though. That is a beautiful, amazing response, and I couldn't think of like any way better to respond to that. If you're going to start talking gibberish, then like prepare to get a bit of gibberish back. I think that's beautiful. Body blue. Oh, you'll make a fan out of me yet. Oh, I've got 1,000 men still inside me. Oh, I like that. It's making me horny. And then the interviewer, because that is a very astute observation from Body. Most people nowadays aren't going to have a body count. I hate that word, body count. Like, we're not serial killers. Body count. Like, what, I'm hiding bodies in the cupboard because I murdered someone. Behave. Not many people are going to have just one sexual partner. And there isn't even like, a time back then where people were even more chaste. Like, people were still having affairs. This like purity culture that yeah, it's part of religious control, but this purity culture, it's not based in reality. Do you reckon like peasants in the Middle Ages weren't just doing it? Of course they were. Like, people have always been shagging about. But it's an astute observation that, okay, well, most people aren't going to have one sexual partner in their entire lives, so is everyone fucked then, basically? And we're all just like, I don't think that's very necessary to say. I mean, I reckon, I already said earlier, I don't think it's going to affect her, because I think she might actually just be a psychopath, but non-derogatory, kind of fun. Oh no. Oh yeah, I'm fully going into body defense mode. There is a lady a few years ago. She was some sort of like ultra marathon runner. She was on an episode of Joe Rogan. I forget her name. She just ate candy. She would eat candy and like have a beer. Not before. Didn't like have all these training protocols in place. And she did, it was like what? She would do like 100-mile runs. And there was one that she broke. I don't know if it was 200 miles. I don't know if it was like 500 kilometers. But that's extreme too. And the point is, you're always going to, I guess you're always going to get people who do really extreme things, because that ultimately isn't going to be good for her health, doing, like 200-mile runs, is it? I guess Bonnie is just the ultra marathon runner of the OnlyFans community. I don't think it's going to affect Bonnie for all the reasons that I've said. I don't see it, ma'am. And like I said, if she does turn around and go, oh, actually, all of those men were awful and all of them exploited me, I'm just going to be like, nope, you don't get to play that card, because you've been, this is me being anti-Bonnie again, you've been so nasty and derogatory to other women, so you're not, I forbid it. I don't allow it. You don't get to turn around and be like, oh, I wasn't me exploiting the men, they were exploiting me. You don't get to use that, Bonnie. But I don't think she's going to, regardless. I don't think the interviewer, again, has done her research or is well versed in this, because there is some things to pick apart about Bonnie's. I don't know if it's her stepdad or her biological dad. It might be her stepdad, or is it? Regardless, her father figure, right? Like, goes down to the pub and hands out cards, like, for men to like shag her and be on her OnlyFans. And her mum, like, there's being like, okay, you're doing this thing, sure, and then there's like actively encouraging people down at the pub to shag your daughter. There's things to like, genuinely talk about and dissect here, but because the interviewer has been super judgmental, we've not gotten into any meat or like any depth. If there is depth to Bonnie, we haven't discovered it because this has been handled quite poorly. Should I take one for the team and do it? Should I interview Bonnie Blue? I wouldn't take it seriously, and then like I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to get nagged at by people who don't follow my channel, who would be like, why is she laughing all the time? Why is she joking with her? Why isn't she taking this seriously? I'm not going to put myself in that position because I wouldn't take it that seriously. Why should I? Yeah, but you also believe that energy gets divided during sex and that male sperm and DNA inexplicably just lives on in a woman like a parasite to a host. So I just wouldn't really listen to any of your advice anyway. So you would say to someone, you look atrocious. That's not going to help, is it? I know it's a crazy thing for me to say, really, because we are talking to the Bonnie Blue here. But like, this interviewer is so close-minded and just doesn't really have an imagination. Like, so many varieties of different people exist and coexist and have families within society. I'm not saying it like I can imagine they do. I mean, the mother has said like, oh yeah, we get to go on like nice holidays. So her parents are probably like her, hence why she is like this. So why kind of wouldn't they like her? I don't know, man. For me, this is a bit of a stupid point to like get stuck on. I don't know, man. Like, you can't whitewash the things you've said. You can't change the narrative, rewrite the story. You've said very derogatory things about other women. That might be why they dislike you. It's not just because you're a sex worker and you talk about it proudly. Because like a lot of women I know would just be like, yeah, and who cares? It doesn't affect my life. But as soon as you're saying things that are very rape culture adjacent and you're defending and being a pick-me for certain types of men and being like, well, what do you expect? Like saying nasty, basically what was she saying in the GK Barry interview? It was essentially like, no, you should just sleep with your man even if you don't want to because he will sleep with someone else. It's like, okay, so that's not fully consensual then. It's not, if they don't really want to do it but they feel obligated. Like, no one's obligated to anyone else's body, right? So these are some of the things why people might not like you, not just because, ow, I'm hot. I have literally said on this channel before that I do not like those, oh, but, if a guy said it, he'd get in trouble, because guys say and do so much bad stuff and don't get in trouble. Donald Trump is the president of America. Guys and men get away with shit all the time. Like, what did I see on Reddit recently that really pissed me off? So trigger warnings, it's about sexual assault. There was a man relaying his experience of how he went to a massage parlour and something happened to him that he didn't really consent to, right? And then he was like, I feel like I've been violated and sexually assaulted, but I also feel like no one's going to take it seriously because I'm a man, and I feel like if I was a woman and this happened to me, everyone would care and the place would get shut down. And it was like that one throwaway line at the end, and I was like, you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to compare yourself to women and put women down, and that's a false reality. Because most rape cases or sexual assault cases never even make it to court because women, on a profound level, don't get believed. They have to have evidence, and even then, like, I hate that argument of, oh, if you were a man, you wouldn't get away with saying that because men do. Or, oh, if I was a woman and this happened to me, like, XYZ would get in trouble, because no, that routinely doesn't happen. So, but people do talk about it and are trying to, like, rewire it and unlearn it. People do. See, she's lying here and being disingenuous, and the interviewer actually made a good point that, well, that it's not nice for schoolgirls and causes issues, so why would you then go on and do it to schoolboys in this faux, like, oh, I just want things to be equal. It's like when men go, oh, women want equality, but what if I punch them in the face? It's like, you thought of equality and that's the first thing you thought of, punching a woman in the face. Like, what are you talking? Literally, what are you talking about? See, the interviewer makes a good point here. She should have gone on more about it. We've got 3 minutes left, so she's not going to. And Bonnie is kind of conveniently missing the point. A lot of women don't, though, so is that something to be denigrated? No. Women shit out entire watermelons during birth. A man's penis ain't gonna do shit. Like, this woman is so anti-science. A man's penis is not going to change the size or shape of your vagina. No, they don't. No, they don't. Oh, man, this woman. I think saying that's worse. Your vagina gets used to one penis, and then, so if you have more sex than that, it's going to be misshapen. Men's DNA lives on. Like, this woman, like, again, it's actually red pill manosphere crap masquerading as spirituality, and I think that's quite damaging because it's anti-science nonsense. She literally is body shaming Body Blue's vagina and saying that it's misshapen and it will get rearranged by the different... Rearranged? It's not a furniture set from IKEA. Teaching anything because you're not a teacher. Like, the audacity, the sheer audacity to be saying anti-science, anti-biological, like, rubbish that isn't grounded in reality, that is parroted on manosphere red pill talking points. So I wonder what your YouTube recommended looks like if you're, like, ingesting all this nonsense. Like, again, like, which is used to control women with, like, this purity culture of fear of, oh no, if I do this, my vagina will be misshapen, it won't be tight enough anymore, or, like, it's going to be rearranged, and oh no, like, the energy of two lovers past is going to live on in me like the fucking ghosts in A Christmas Carol. And then the audacity to turn around and be like, oh no, I'm teaching you stuff. No, you're not. Go learn in a book. What was it? Like a Mark Manson red pill dating book. Which, by the way, he used to do before he, pretended to turn into like the philosopher of YouTube. So check out some of his earlier works in which he said when a woman says no, doesn't actually mean no. Look it up if you don't believe me. I think she should do it. Find out. Let's do some actual science instead of pseudoscience babble. I aim to be that unbothered about everything in life. I aim to be psychotic. I would say research and keep your cool next time. Big words, educated guesses coming from someone who thinks ghost sperm lives on in haunted women vaginas. We all just have haunted vaginas if we've been whores and dared to sleep with more than one person in our lives. What if you sleep with one person and then you're stuck with them because, like, you're, in this magical universe, you're pair bonded and, their sperm is literally haunting you and they're just really bad at sex and they're a horrible person? Kind of screwed then, isn't you? Like, what if they were pretending to be nice the entire time and then they get you in bed and then that's it? Shame. So that was that. That is my defense of Body Blue. I know, I can't believe it either, but do you guys see what I mean? How ridiculous that interview was. Let's read some of the comments. Let's end this off by reading the comments. Michelle, that's disgusting. Body Blue, I love it. Sums up this entire interview. You can't shame the shameless. The fact that Bonnie answered every question with a straight face with no changes to her pupils is crazy. She's legit locked in. Well done, Michelle. You managed to conduct an interview so poorly that most people were damn near rooting for Bonnie by the end of it. Absolutely not. I aim to have this level of not caring about what people think. My nephew's 18. We'll send him to me then. Bonnie Blue is smarter than the other girl. I wouldn't say way. Well, I don't think. I'm awful and don't think anyone's smart. She destroyed her, apart from my man Slavoj and Immanuel Kant. She destroyed her on an intellectual level, and from an ethical standpoint, she held her own admirably. She kept her calm in the face of barrage of ad hominem insults, didn't fall for the rage bait, and she easily crushed this interview. I think Bonnie gets so much. I don't think she was that arsed in the first place, because when I first became aware of her and she first started getting criticism, she never seemed that arsed by it either. But at this point in her career, she's had so much more criticism than most other people in these industries. So, like, this wasn't going to affect her. Calling her a slut, it's going to do nothing, apart from maybe make her horny. I'm not having a midlife crisis. I don't need to run a marathon. The interview that wrecked Michelle tried so many shots and they all bounced off. She was fuming. She's actually low-key funny with the way she shamelessly admits things with a blank expression. Liquid evidence was hilarious. Bonnie has expert-level composure. Not even politicians are able to keep it together how she did. Class act. I wouldn't go that far. Masterful conduct and control is clear. She played that interviewer like a fiddle. Shame the interviewer lost her composure doing this. Bonnie wiped the floor. Bonnie demolished this interview. So, if the intention of Michelle was to get people on her side, safe to say it's not really worked. What did you think of today's video? Because that's all from me. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Do we predict that Bonnie will regret her actions in 10 years' time? Do we predict that me and Bonnie are inevitably going to somehow become mates? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.